Chapter 27:27 Lu Ming's outburst. Didn't you want me to see your battle prowess? This is your combat power. Lu Ming cast a disdainful look at Huya, his voice full of mockery. I don't believe that with my true God Realm cultivation base, I would lose to an ethereal God Realm expert. Or tear me apart. Huya's eyes were blood red as he roared. The Shin power in his body boiled and his body swelled up. He had gained a full circle of weight. Or a tiger's roar shook the entire scene. Huya transformed into a half-human, half-tiger existence. With a stomp of his feet, he pounced at Lu Ming like a gust of wind. This was a secret technique of the Tigermen race. When used, one's combat strength would increase by a large margin. Many special races had their own innate secret techniques. Only those of that race could use them, and they had all kinds of profound mysteries. This was something that the human race could not compare to. Lu Ming became a little more serious. He stood up, a long spear condensed in his palm, and he swept it out. Boom. A huge spear ray swept towards Huya. Tear. The tiger's teeth roared. His nails were like blades as he continuously clawed at the spear radiance. Bang. 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 In the blink of an eye, the two of them had collided dozens of times. Huya's expression changed drastically, and with a fled groan, his body was thrown back. In mid-air, blood spurted out of his mouth. A disciple of the unique demon academy soared into the sky, caught Huya and fell to the ground. Huya spat out a large mouthful of blood, his aura weak. He had already suffered heavy injuries and was unable to continue fighting. Can't even withstand a single blow. Lu Ming said indifferently, his voice filled with disdain. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Huya spat out another mouthful of blood. He was so angry. He had always thought that the reason he had lost to Lu Ming during the Qintian 13 clan assessment was because his cultivation had been suppressed. If his cultivation had not been suppressed, he could have crushed Lu Ming to death with a single finger. He did not expect that after a few decades he would be so vulnerable in front of Lu Ming. He was easily crushed by Lu Ming. It was really hard for him to bear. Brat, you dare to injure the disciples of my unique Devil Academy? How dare you? Let me fight you. With a loud roar, a bald young man rushed out of the unique Devil Academy. The aura that the bald young man exuded was extremely shocking. He was a fourth-stage true god genius, and his cultivation was no weaker than an heis. Boom. The bald young man rose into the air and his legs were like steel whips, sweeping toward Lu Ming. This person's leg technique was extremely impressive. Before the leg reached him, the terrifying force was already pressing down on Lu Ming with an overwhelming force. Lu Ming's spear swept out and collided with the bald youth's leg, causing a violent boom. The bald youth's figure drifted backward, while the long spear condensed by divine power in Lu Ming's hand trembled non-stop and almost collapsed. There's a divine artifact on his leg. Lu Ming squinted his eyes slightly. The other party was wearing a golden boot. It was a divine weapon with shocking power. Lu Ming did not use the divine weapon just now, so the long spear condensed by divine power almost collapsed. Lu Ming had a thought and a divine spear appeared in his hands. Heaven-fixing foot, heaven-fixing strike. The bald young man took a step back and stabilized himself in the air. Then he charged at Lu Ming, kicking out with both legs. His entire body was like a drill, blasting towards Lu Ming. Break the sky. Lu Ming launched an air-piercing strike. A dazzling spear radiance collided with the bald youth. The force spread in all directions. The bald youth was pushed back tens of thousands of meters. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was injured. How is that possible? The others widened their eyes in disbelief. Lu Ming had actually injured the bald young man. The bald young man was a fourth-stage true god and was also a Heaven's Pride expert. His combat strength was far from what Huya could compare to. However, such combat strength was not Lu Ming's match. An 8th-level ethereal god realm expert could suppress a 4th-level true god realm heaven's favorite. What kind of freak was this? Everyone finally knew why Lu Ming was able to become the team leader of the Kong Xian sect. It was because he had the ability. Previously, Anhai had said loudly that Lu Ming could become the team leader of the Kong Xian sect because he was the most powerful. However, no one believed him at that time and thought that Anhai was just bragging. Now they knew that what Anhai said was the truth. How is that possible? He could not believe his eyes. He controlled the sacred grade divine power and prided himself on being a peerless talent. To him it was a common occurrence to fight those of a higher level. However, he realized that he was nothing compared to Lu Ming. This kid. The pupils of the team leader of the unique Devil Academy also contracted, and he revealed a shocked expression. This level of combat strength was truly shocking. Even the divine sons of the three overlord forces wouldn't have such terrifying combat strength in a battle of the same level. Interesting, very interesting. Bing Qing, the ninth young master of the Ice Soul clan, had a glint in her eyes. The geniuses of the unique Devil Academy are only SOSO. Lu Ming said calmly. Kid, don't be arrogant. I'll fight you. Take this. The geniuses from the unique Demon Academy were furious. Immediately, two young men rushed up and attacked Lu Ming. These two young men were also at the fourth stage True God realm. The Yimo Academy was indeed worthy of being one of the three overlord sects in the Qin Heaven Star region. They were indeed powerful and had four fourth stage True God geniuses. It should be known that only In Hai and the long-faced young man were at True God Stage 4 in Kong Xian sect. Of course, it could not be ruled out that there were geniuses from the major sects who had cultivated for less than 10,000 years. It was just that they had not come. However, this also showed how powerful the unique Devil Academy was. The two fourth stage True God geniuses, one on the left and one on the right, launched a fierce attack on Lu Ming. Their divine skills had been cultivated to the third stage and the power was very shocking. At the same time, the bald young man from before also burst out with all his strength. His feet stepped in the void and his figure appeared above Lu Ming. He looked down from above and stomped down. The three experts joined forces to deal with Lu Ming and launched their strongest attack at the same time. The power of the attack changed drastically. Even an ordinary stage 5 True God or even stage 6 True God would be terrified and avoid the attack, let alone an 8th stage Ethereal God. However, Lu Ming's expression was calm. At this moment his fighting spirit soared into the sky, and an even stronger power burst out of his body. The battle formula, which tripled his combat power, was activated. 3 apocalyptic strikes break the sky. With the enhancement of the battle character formula, which tripled his combat power, Lu Ming cast the 3 apocalyptic strikes. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming had stabbed 3 times. The 3 spear shadows rushed up and split into 3 directions, piercing toward the 3 young geniuses of the unique Demon Academy. Boom, boom, boom. There was a violent explosion and it was as if 3 stars had exploded in the sky. Lose. Lu Ming let out a long howl. In the midst of his howl, the 3 figures retreated rapidly, flying thousands of meters away, their bodies covered in blood. Chapter 27-28 T for tat. They were defeated. All 3 geniuses of the unique Demon Academy had been defeated. Each of them had a gunshot wound on their chest. The wound went through their chest and blood was flowing out. The 3 of them were pale and their breathing was weak. Their faces were filled with deep shock. In that instant just now they had almost thought that they were dead for sure. The others were also shocked. It was 1 against 3 and Lu Ming had actually won. This combat strength could no longer be described as shocking. Even Bing Qing, who was experienced and knowledgeable, had a deep shock in her eyes. The people from the other sects gasped. Is there anyone else who wants to fight in the unique Devil Academy? Lu Ming held the gun in one hand and swept his gaze across the people from the unique Demon Academy. He was unparalleled in his demeanor. I didn't expect the Kong Xian sect to have someone like you. It's good. I'll meet you personally today. A cold voice sounded. It was the captain of the unique Devil Academy. He had been sitting in his seat the entire time. At this moment he suddenly stood up from his seat. Boom. An extremely terrifying aura burst out from this person, and a vast pressure filled the void. Plop. Someone actually couldn't withstand this pressure and directly sat on the ground. Everyone felt as if a huge mountain was pressing down on them. This aura. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a hint of solemnity. The captain of the unique Devil Academy was definitely a terrifying figure. Stage 5 True God Realm. This was the cultivation that the team leader of the unique Devil Academy had revealed. However, the feeling that he gave off was much stronger than the other Stage 4 True God Realm experts. For example, even if In Hai reached Stage 5 True God Realm, it was impossible for him to give off such a strong pressure. The divine power that this person controlled was divine grade divine power. Without a doubt, this was a top heaven's favorite. His battle power wasn't something that Huya could compare to. Huya was only at stage 1 true god, while this person was already at stage 5. A powerful aura burst out from Lu Ming's body. His entire person was like a straight divine spear, showing off its sharp edge. Boom! Their auras collided in the air and the air exploded like thunder. The terrifying pressure made all the seats shake as if they were going to explode at any time. Many people hurriedly circulated their divine power to protect themselves. At the same time, they were on high alert. They knew that once Lu Ming started a fight with the team leader of the unique Devil Academy, the destructive power would be extremely shocking. The 9th young master of the Ice Soul clan looked around and suddenly stood up. He took a step forward and appeared between Lu Ming and the team leader of the unique Demon Academy. An icy aura emanated from his body. This cold aura was extremely terrifying, as if it wanted to freeze everything in the world. The aura of Lu Ming and the team leader of the unique Devil Academy seemed to be frozen by this aura. They could not help but restrain their auras. What terrifying strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Bing Qing's strength was probably above the team leader of the unique Demon Academy. Can the two of you give me some face and forget about today's matter? Bing Qing said. Previously, he did not stop them because he wanted to see their strength. However, the situation was getting more and more serious. If the Xian sect and the Yimo Academy were to fight, it would be disadvantageous for the mission later. Therefore, he stood up to stop them. The unique Demon Academy looked at Bing Qing with a grave expression. He could not see through Bing Qing's cultivation, and it gave him a strong pressure. Kid, you're lucky today. I hope your luck will always be this good. The team leader of the unique Demon Academy cast a cold glance at Lu Ming. A wisp of killing intent flashed in the depths of his eyes. He was shocked that Xian sect had produced a prodigy like Lu Ming. We can't let this person live. The team leader of the unique Demon Academy thought. The Xian sect was the leader of the top 10 sections. Over the years, they had become more and more powerful and were already a threat to the 3 overlords. Therefore, a prodigy like Lu Ming could not be left alive. Once he grew up, he would be even more terrifying. Lu Ming smiled faintly, then turned around and returned to his seat. Bing Qing and the rest also returned to their seats. Thank you for coming today. I believe that everyone is curious about the mission this time. Now I will briefly explain the mission. The mission this time is to go to one of the Ice Soul clan's ancestral lands and retrieve a treasure called the Ice Jade Heart. There are powerful restrictions on the way to the ancestral land, especially the time restriction. Only those under 10,000 years old can enter. Bing Qing said. Everyone came to a sudden realization. No wonder all the major sects sent people under 10,000 years old. So this was the reason. Therefore, with the Ice Soul clan's strength, they would ask for help from the major sections. However, the Ice Soul clan's strength was limited when it came to prodigies under 10,000 years old. There must be danger in your ancestral land, right? Someone asked. Of course. It's recorded in the ancient books that there are desolate beasts inside. Otherwise, the Ice Soul clan wouldn't have paid such a huge price. If any of you are afraid and don't want to go, you can go back now. The Ice Soul clan will send someone to send you back. Bing Qing smiled. Everyone was silent. They had already expected that there would be danger. Otherwise, the reward would not be so high. The Xian sect was rewarded with 20,000 points, and the other sects were offering similar rewards. Alright, since no one is backing out, well, leave in 3 days. Come, let's drink. Bing Qing smiled and everyone began to toast and drink. After 3 rounds of wine, everyone took their leave. You guys can go back first, I still have things to do. Lu Ming instructed, and Hai and the rest. And Hai and the rest nodded and left. Soon, only Lu Ming and a few members of the Ice Soul clan were left. Brother Lu, do you have anything else? Bing Qing looked at Lu Ming. I do have something to ask you, 9th young lord. Lu Ming said. He wanted to ask Bing Qing about the whereabouts of the Cold Moonstone and if possible by some. Oh. You guys can leave. Bing Qing waved at the other members of the Ice Soul clan and they left. Brother Lu, what's the matter? Please speak. Bing Qing laughed. 9th young master, Lu Ming would like to ask if the Ice Soul clan has Cold Moonstones? Lu Ming asked directly. Cold Moonstone. Bing Qing's expression changed slightly before she nodded. That's right. The Ice Soul clan does have Cold Moonstones. There really is. Lu Ming was overjoyed. 9th young master, Can you sell a few cold moonstones to Lu Ming? Lu Ming said. Sell it to you? This might not work. The ninth young master shook his head slightly. You can't sell it? Lu Ming was stunned. That's right, Brother Lu. To tell you the truth, the cold moonstone is an extremely precious treasure even in the Ice Soul clan. Moreover, every piece used is one less piece. Even now there are very few cold moonstones in the Ice Soul clan. They're all kept in the treasure vault by the important figures of my clan. It's very difficult for me to get even one. Bing Qing smiled bitterly. Chapter 2729 Cold Moonstones. Whereabouts. Lu Ming was greatly disappointed. He had thought that even if there were not many cold moonstones in the Ice Soul clan, there would not be a lot of them. He did not expect that cold moonstones were extremely precious treasures even in the Ice Soul clan. Even Bing Qing had a hard time getting her hands on one, so it would be impossible for him to buy some. It seems that if I want to cultivate the ice shackles to the large success stage, I can only find a replacement treasure in the future. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. In order to cultivate the ice shackles to large success, cold moonstones were not the only things that could be used. Other precious cold attribute materials could also be used, but most of them were extremely precious. Brother Lu, if you really want to get the cold moonstone, there's a way. Bing Qing suddenly changed the topic. What is it? Lu Ming's eyes lit up slightly. To tell you the truth, Brother Lu, most of the cold moonstones of the Ice Soul clan came from the ancestral land. However, the ancestral land was closed for some reason countless years ago and was filled with powerful restrictions. It took a long time for the restrictions to weaken so that outsiders could enter. This time, Brother Lu, if you're lucky, you might be able to get some cold moonstones. Our main goal in entering the ancestral land this time is to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart. However, we also have another goal, which is to obtain some cold moonstones to bring out. Bing Qing said. So the cold moonstone came from the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He was full of anticipation for this trip to the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. He had to get a few cold moonstones. Brother Lu, if you can find the cold moonstone in the ancestral land, it's yours. You can take it away. Bing Qing added. Thank you, ninth young master. Lu Ming cupped his fists in thanks and then left. 3 days passed by in a flash. 3 days later, everyone gathered again. The geniuses of the 6 major sects, including the Yimo Academy and the Kong Shen sect, and half of the geniuses of the Ice Soul clan, added up to nearly 100 people. The Ice Soul clan itself had about 50 people. It could be said that all the top masters under the age of 10,000 years of the Ice Soul clan had come. The Ice Soul clan was naturally led by the 9th young master, Bing Qing. Everyone, please follow me. Bing Qing said as she flew in a direction. Everyone followed her and arrived at a large teleportation formation. The territory of the Ice Soul clan was very vast. There were more than 80 galaxies and countless vital planets. Their ancestral land was a long way from the Ice Soul star. There were already dozens of figures at the side of the teleportation array. These figures were all dressed in white robes. There were men and women, but they were all very old. Greetings, clan elders. Bing Qing and the Ice Soul clan's elites saluted the old men. These old men were the elders of the Ice Soul clan. They were definitely terrifying experts. Everyone's here, right? Let's go, said an elder of the Ice Soul clan. He stepped into the teleportation formation first, followed by the rest of the elders. Why did he need so many experts from the Ice Soul clan? This thought flashed through many people's minds. Then they all stepped into the teleportation array. The teleportation array flashed and everyone disappeared. After half a month of teleportation, they arrived on a barren planet. Then an elder of the Ice Soul clan took out a large interplanetary warship. They boarded the warship and flew for a few more days. In front of them, a strange place appeared. There were countless huge rocks floating in the universe in front of him. These rocks seemed to be formed by the explosion of a planet. They were suspended in the air. From a distance, these rocks seemed to form a road that led to the front. This was the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. The elder kept the starship and they stood in space. However, a layer of light appeared on Lu Ming and the others, enveloping them. True gods couldn't stay in the universe for long, so the light curtain was set up by the elders of the Ice Soul clan. The Ice Soul clan's ancestral land is in the depths of these broken rocks. Let's wait a moment. We need to pass through these broken rocks to enter the ancestral land. Bing Qing introduced. Pass through these broken rocks? We're all at the true god stage, but it's hard for true gods to stay in the universe for long. Someone's expression changed. In front of him, those huge broken stones were suspended in the starry sky. It was no different from being directly exposed to the universe. Don't worry. This rocky area was formed by the explosion of a real-life planet in the distant past. It's full of powerful restrictions, but also because of the restrictions, the environment of this rocky area is similar to a life planet. As long as you're under 10,000 years old, you can enter. Bing Qing explained, and everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Alright, you can go in now. Bing Qing, you have to remember that you only have half a year. After half a year, the restriction here will be strengthened again. By then, you won't be able to come out even if you want to. Remember, regardless of whether you have completed the mission or not, you have to come out within half a year. Do you understand? One of the elders warned Bing Qing. Understood. Bing Qing nodded, then in a flash he rushed towards the area of broken rocks and stood on a huge piece of broken rock. Buzz. Buzz. Whoosh. The others moved as well. They rushed out one after another and stood on the crushed stones. It's indeed similar to other life planets. Lu Ming landed on a piece of gravel and his heart skipped a beat. The environment here was similar to a life planet. There was also air and even divine qi, but the gravity here was much lower. Let's go. Bing Qing was the first to rush into the depths of the gravel area. They jumped on the gravel at an amazing speed. Soon more than 100 people disappeared from the sight of the Ice Soul Clan's elder. I hope this trip will be successful. A clan elder sighed. The Ice Jade Heart was extremely important to the Ice Soul Clan. However, a great turmoil had occurred in the Ice Soul Clan a long time ago. A tragic war had broken out and the Ice Soul Clan's ancestral land had almost collapsed. Since then, a terrifying restriction had formed outside the Ice Soul Clan's ancestral land, preventing others from entering. Only after waiting for a long time would the restriction on the Ice Soul Clan's ancestral land weaken. Only those under 10,000 years old would be able to enter. In the distant past they had sent people in, but they had failed. If they failed again this time, they didn't know how many years they would have to wait. They're here. Suddenly, an elder of the Ice Soul Clan looked in a certain direction. His eyes were filled with killing intent. The other elders of the Ice Soul Clan also looked in that direction with cold eyes. Whoosh! A huge starry sky battleship rushed over from that direction. As it approached, the starry sky battleship stopped. A group of people appeared in the starry sky. The people in the lead were also a group of elders, but their skin was red, and they exuded a scorching aura that seemed to set the starry sky on fire. Chapter 2730, Entering the Ice Soul Clan's ancestral land, the Red Flame Tribe. These people were all powerhouses of the Red Flame Tribe. In the Qin Heaven Star Zone, apart from the Qin Heaven 13 clans, there were two clans that were the strongest. They were the Ice Soul Clan and the Scarlet Flame Clan. Each of these two clans was stronger than any single overlord sect. The two great races together occupied a small half of the Qin Galaxy's territory. Moreover, the Ice Soul Clan and the Scarlet Flame Clan had never been on good terms. They had been competing with each other for countless years. The Ice Soul Clan wanted to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart from the ancestral land, but the Scarlet Flame Clan would not allow it. Every time the Red Flame Tribe would send someone to stop them. Behind some of the elders of the Red Flame Tribe, there was a group of young experts. In addition to this group of young experts of the Red Flame Tribe, there was also a group of young Heaven's favorites who were not from the Red Flame Tribe. If Lu Ming was here, he would definitely recognize a few familiar faces. The Golden Sage of the Vajra race and Yang Cheng. The two of them had competed with Lu Ming during the Qin 13 clans assessment. Later on, the Golden Sage joined the Indestructible Sword sect, one of the three overlords, while Yang Cheng joined the Boundless Holy Land. Needless to say, these youths were all from the other sects of the Qin Heavenly 13 clans. The geniuses of the Indestructible Sword sect and the Boundless Holy Land were all here. Red Flame Tribe, you've come. An elder of the Ice Soul Clan said coldly. You want to get the heart of Ice Jade and suppress my Scarlet Flame Tribe? It's not that easy. An old man from the Scarlet Flame Clan sneered. Don't even think of stopping me. The elder of the Ice Soul Clan said coldly, and a powerful aura burst out of his body. Boom, boom, boom. The dozens of elders of the Ice Soul Clan released a shocking aura at the same time. The aura was filled with a terrifying chill. The space where they were in was instantly frozen and the ice spread toward the Scarlet Flame clan. Small tricks, melt it. The elder of the Red Flame tribe shouted. Then all the experts of the Red Flame tribe burst into flames. The entire starry sky was about to burn. Boom, boom, boom. One side was icy cold while the other side was scorching hot. The two sides continued to clash, causing the starry sky to shake violently. Well, block the Ice Soul Clan's old farts. You guys charge into that area. The overlords of the Red Flame clan roared and attacked the elder of the Ice Soul clan with various attacks. Kill. The elders of the Ice Soul clan roared and attacked. The two sides engaged in an intense battle and the scene was extremely shocking. If the two sides fought on a life planet, it would probably cause a destructive disaster. A battle between such figures was too terrifying. Even a wisp of energy that leaked out could destroy a small world like the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm. Charge. As the powerhouses from both sides fought, the Scarlet Flame race and the other sect's Heaven's favorites took the opportunity to rush into the rocky area. It. The elders of the Ice Soul clan shouted, but they were helpless. The Ice Soul clan had gone through a great turmoil countless years ago. Now their strength was no longer as strong as the Red Flame clan. The Red Flame clan had come prepared. If they stopped the Ice Soul clan, they could let the others take the opportunity to rush into the rocky area. They could not stop them. Seeing those young men rush into the area of broken stones, the two sides fought for a while more, then both retreated and faced each other. Humph, even if they rush into the area of broken rocks, they might not be able to stop the prodigy of my Ice Soul clan. An elder of the Ice Soul clan snorted. Oh, that might not be the case. An old man from the Scarlet Flame tribe sneered. The prodigies of the Scarlet Flame race and the other sects of the Qin Heavenly 13 clans continued to move forward the moment they entered the area of broken rocks. They only stopped after going a long way. Why didn't you continue? One of the Immortal Sword sect's elite asked. There's no rush. We can't enter the Ice Soul clan's true ancestral land. Moreover, it's dangerous inside. Let's wait here. When the Ice Soul clan enters the ancestral land, even if they manage to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart, they'll be greatly injured. Well, wait here and catch them off guard. We can kill them easily. A tall NSTU, Art, DY young man from the Red Flame tribe said. Brilliant plan. The others gasped in admiration. Then they set up a concealment array in this area. Lu Ming and the group were moving forward and did not know what happened after that. This rocky area was very long. They had no idea how many miles they had traveled. The distance they had traveled could be measured in hundreds of millions of miles. These were formed from the explosion of a life planet. One could only imagine how long it had been. After 6 or 7 days of traveling, they had reached the end of the rocky area. A huge light screen appeared in front of them, blocking their way. Behind this light screen is my clan's ancestral land. Only the token of my clan can open it. Bing Qing explained and then took out a statue. The statue was only a foot tall and it seemed to be carved out of ice. It was crystal clear and exuded a bone-piercing chill. Bing Qing held up the statue and let it float in the air. Her hands formed a mysterious seal and runes entered the statue. Buzz. The statue began to shake and emit a bright light. The bone-piercing chill became even stronger. Many people shivered and used their martial arts to resist it. The light screen on the statue seemed to resonate with the light screen. The light screen trembled slightly and a vortex appeared on the light screen. Quick, go in. Bing Qing shouted. The Ice Soul clan's paragon rushed into the vortex first, followed by Lu Ming and the others. In the end, only Bing Qing was left. Bing Qing grabbed the statue and rushed into the whirlpool and the whirlpool slowly disappeared. After Lu Ming rushed into the vortex, he appeared on a mountain peak. To be more precise, it was an ice mountain. He looked around and found An Hai and the others beside him. It's so cold. Someone shuddered and his voice trembled. The temperature of this world was shockingly low. Even a true God Realm expert would feel a bone-chilling cold when a gust of cold wind blew over. They would have to use their divine power to resist it. Everyone looked into the distance and what they saw was a patch of white. The snow was white and the snow-white icebergs stretched as far as the eye could see. However, Lu Ming had cultivated the divine power of frost. This kind of environment did not affect him at all. On the contrary, he felt very comfortable. He activated the divine power of extreme cold. Between heaven and earth, wisps of cold air gathered towards him and were refined into the divine power of extreme cold. Cultivating in this place, those who cultivated cold attribute divine power would cultivate much faster. Ninth young lord, where is the icy jade heart that you're looking for? This world seems to be very big. Someone asked Bing Qing. I have a map here. An ice jade talisman appeared in Bing Qing's hand. She injected some divine power into it and the jade talisman lit up. A map appeared in the air. Chapter 2731 Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Everyone looked at the map carefully. At the southernmost part of the map, there was a red dot that was shining. This red dot is our current location. Also, the center of the map is our destination. Bing Qing explained and pointed to the center of the map. There was a sign there. It was the sign of an ice mountain at the center of the map. Remember this map first. If we get separated later on, we'll meet up at the center. Also, we'll meet here within half a year and leave together. Bing Qing said. Everyone immediately focused their attention on the map and memorized it. Almost everyone who had reached the true God realm had a photographic memory. Soon everyone memorized the map. Let's go. Bing Qing kept the map and everyone flew towards the north. Ooh. The cold wind was bone-piercing and the temperature was shockingly low. However, there were still living beings in this world despite the low temperature. All sorts of plants grew on the mountains and in the valleys. Some were as white as jade, some were as red as fire, and some were as green as jade. In the valley, one could occasionally see the figures of some creatures flashing past. Everyone secretly praised her. Nature was indeed full of wonders. Very quickly they had flown over 10 million miles away. However, there was still a long way to go before they reached the center. Buzz. At this moment, a sharp, ear-piercing sound was heard. Then a beam of white light shot into the sky from an ice mountain, bringing with it a whistling cold wind as it pounced toward Lu Ming and the rest. That is, Phoenix. When everyone saw the white light, they were shocked. The body of the white light was a snow-white bird, which looked exactly like the divine beast Phoenix. It's the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Be careful. Bing Qing shouted. Gah. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's speed was astonishingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it had arrived. With a flap of its wings, ice crystals that looked like ice swords flew towards Lu Ming and the rest. The power was terrifying. Everyone took action, circulating their divine power to resist. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hands. He swept the spear at one of the ice crystals. Buzz. The ice crystals were shattered by Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's expression changed. He found that the power of the ice crystal was shockingly strong. As expected, some of the weaker cultivators were forced back by the ice crystals and spat out large mouthfuls of blood. Gah! The cold jade ice phoenix screeched and flapped its wings continuously. Countless ice crystals, bringing with them a cold wind, swept towards them. I'll kill you. A voice sounded. It was the captain of the unique Devil Academy. This person was called Lu Xianxia. Pitch-black divine power burst out of his body as he threw a few punches in succession. Lu Xianxia, as the captain of the unique Devil Academy, controlled a divine grade power, and his combat strength was definitely terrifying. He punched out a few times and a few fist forces crushed out, shattering a large number of ice crystals. Buzz. Lu Xianxia turned into a black light and rushed toward the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Holy Demon Divine Seal. Lu Xianxia's cold voice was heard. The black marks on his face glowed with a bright black light, then formed a huge black seal and pressed down on the Ice Phoenix. Gah! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out an angry cry and opened its mouth to shoot out a white beam of light, clashing with the seal that Lu Xianxia had thrown out. Boom! The two of them exploded with a shocking boom. The pillar of light shot out by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was shattered. However, the power of Lu Xianxia's seal was also greatly reduced. It continued to suppress the Ice Phoenix. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix spread its wings, which were like ice blades, and flapped. Boom! Lu Xianxia's seal exploded and he was sent flying backward. The seals on his face were bleeding as if they had cracked. Lu Xianxia was actually no match for the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Many people were shocked. Lu Xianxia's strength was absolutely amazing, but he still couldn't defeat the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. If the others went up, they would only die. After forcing Lu Xianxia back, The frost jade ice phoenix flapped her wings and turned into a white light as she pounced towards the crowd. Get lost. At this moment Bingqing made her move. Her entire body seemed to have turned into a sword light, emitting an icy cold aura. The frost jade ice phoenix's wings slashed out like blades, clashing with Bingqing's sword light. Thump. The frost jade ice phoenix and Bingqing retreated at the same time. However, the two of them continued to fight fiercely. They exchanged more than 10 moves in a row, but it was difficult to determine the winner. I blocked it. The others were overjoyed, but at the same time Bingqing's strength shocked them. Bingqing's combat strength was even above Lu Shankai's. Ga. The frost jade ice phoenix couldn't take the battle down and let out an angry cry. Her attacks became more and more violent, but Bingqing's combat strength was extremely strong. She completely blocked the frost jade ice phoenix and even gained the upper hand. However, at this moment, everyone's expression changed drastically. That was because a sharp cry was heard in the surrounding area. Then from some of the ice mountains figures rushed out. Frost jade ice phoenixes, all of them were frost jade ice phoenixes. At a glance there were a total of 8 of them. With the one from before there were 9 of them. The 8 behind had huge bodies and wingspans of over 200 meters. Their auras were extremely terrifying and were definitely not any weaker than the one before. Everyone's expression became extremely ugly. With so many frost jade ice phoenixes appearing all at once, how could they fight? The cries of the 8 frost jade ice phoenixes resounded through the firmament. They flapped their wings and dense ice crystals shot towards Lu Ming and the others. Block it, attack. Someone shouted. Everyone used their full strength to block the ice crystals. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming kept swinging his long spear. In an instant dozens of ice crystals were pierced. Lu Ming's figure also drifted backward. The power of these ice crystals was very shocking. Ah! Ah! There were a few consecutive screams, but not everyone could block them. A few young men had their bodies pierced by ice crystals and were frozen. Then with a bang they exploded into pieces. On the side of Kong Xian sect they did not suffer any losses. Lu Ming had blocked dozens of ice crystals alone earlier, sharing a large amount of the pressure. But at this moment the frost jade ice phoenixes were already approaching. Go, quickly go. At this moment, Bingqing had repelled the frost jade ice phoenix with a single strike and was charging towards Lu Ming and the rest. The group gathered and charged in a direction without the frost jade ice phoenix. Ga. A total of 9 frost jade ice phoenixes chased after Lu Ming and the others. The two sides, one chasing and one escaping, flew tens of thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. However, the 9 frost jade ice phoenixes were still in hot pursuit. Everyone's expression was gloomy. They didn't expect to be so unlucky. They had just entered and they had already encountered 9 such terrifying frost jade ice phoenixes. This won't do. If we continue like this, the 9 frost jade ice phoenixes will catch up to us sooner or later. At that time we'll be surrounded and blocked. Only death will await us. Someone said. Then what? Someone asked. Let's split up. Bingqing spoke and made her decision. Split up. The others' expressions also changed. Chapter 2731 Relentless Pursuit. That's right, let's split up. Bingqing repeated, there are only 9 frost jade ice phoenixes. Let's split up into a dozen groups. This way at least a portion of us won't be chased by the frost jade ice phoenix. Also, if the frost jade ice phoenixes split up and chase us, it will be easier for us to escape. At least we won't be surrounded. Then what if the 9 frost jade ice phoenixes didn't split up, but instead joined together to pursue a group of people? Someone asked. Then it can only be said that that group of people is unlucky. Bingqing said. Some people's faces paled and looked a little unsightly. If they split up and escaped, the 9 frost jade ice phoenixes would focus on the same group of people and only death would await them. I agree. Let's split up. Lu Shankai was the first to speak. I also agree. Then Lu Ming also spoke. The team leaders of 2 sects had agreed and Bingqing's side had obviously agreed as well. The other sects could only agree. Alright, how do we split it? We'll decide on our own. When we get separated, we'll meet at the center of the map. Bingqing ordered. More than 50 Ice Soul Clan's geniuses were divided into 12 teams and scattered in all directions. Lu Ming and the rest also spread out. Each of the sects split into teams and randomly chose a direction to fly in. The 10 people from the Zhou Xian sect gathered together. In this way there were 12 teams from the Ice Soul clan and 18 teams in total, including the 6 sections. And there were only 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes, so it was naturally impossible for them to chase after 18 teams at the same time. The 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes cried out a few times and split up into 9 different directions, chasing after 9 of the teams. Haha, they didn't chase us. That's great. We're lucky, run. 9 of the teams were not pursued by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix, and they were immediately overjoyed. They increased their speed and fled forward. And they're chasing us. How unlucky. The teams that were being chased all had ugly expressions on their faces, but fortunately there was only one chasing them, so there was still hope of escape. Lu Ming and the others were also being chased by a Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. What bad luck. The long-faced young man cursed as he used all his divine power to fly. They were very clear about the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength. It was too powerful. Even the team leader of the unique demon academy, Xianxia, was not its match. They were most likely no match for it either. They could only try their best to shake off the other party or hope that the other party would not pursue them relentlessly. The 2 sides, one chasing and one escaping, had been running for a full 2 hours. They had no idea how far they had run, but the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was still chasing them. Furthermore, because they had been flying for a long time, they had used up a lot of their divine power, while the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix seemed to have an endless supply of energy. The distance between them was slowly closing. If this continued, it was only a matter of time before he was caught. What do we do? If I really can't, I'll fight it to the death. A few Zhou Xian sect disciples roared in anger. It was impossible for anyone else to come to their rescue. At this moment they had long since separated from the other sections. You guys go first, I'll block him. Lu Ming suddenly spoke. What? The others were all stunned. Lu Ming wanted to stay behind and fend off the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix alone? Although Lu Ming was powerful, he was definitely not a match for the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Previously, Lu Xianxia's strength was shocking enough, but he was still at a disadvantage. Lu Ming was most likely no match for it. Buzz. Lu Ming's flying figure suddenly stopped. When the other members of Zhou Xian sect saw this, they gritted their teeth and continued flying forward. Gah! The cold Jade Ice Phoenix screeched. It glared at Lu Ming with its sharp and cold eyes as it approached him quickly. Come on. Lu Ming muttered. A powerful fighting spirit emanated from his body. The battle character art tripled his combat power and exploded. Lu Ming did not stop because he was willing to sacrifice himself for others. The reason he stopped was that Hai was a good person, and Lu Ming did not want him to die at the hands of the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Moreover, Lu Ming had stayed because he was confident that he could escape. If Lu Ming was not confident that he could escape, he would not stay. Let me see how strong you are. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes and activated the 9-stage crimson gold armor. A crimson gold armor appeared. 3 apocalyptic strikes break the sky. Lu Ming used his strongest move, becoming one with the spear, and turned into a dazzling spear ray, stabbing at the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Gah! The cold Jade Ice Phoenix cried out. Its body was covered in a thick layer of ice armor. Under the boost of its terrifying speed, it was like a sharp sword that pierced through the void. A sword light and a spear light collided with each other at an extremely high speed. Boom! And NBSP with a terrifying boom, the 2 forces collided, creating shockwaves that spread in all directions. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. His body trembled violently as he was pushed back by this force. He only stopped after flying a few hundred miles. What powerful strength! Lu Ming felt the blood in his body churning, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Lu Ming was at a complete disadvantage in the clash just now. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength was beyond Lu Ming's imagination. If he had not activated the 9-layered crimson gold armor in advance, his injuries would have been even more severe. Moreover, Lu Ming also controlled the ultimate cold divine power, so the ultimate cold chi of the Ice Phoenix was ineffective against him. Otherwise, if it were someone else, they would have been more seriously injured. Gah! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry and continued to charge towards Lu Ming. Again. Lu Ming charged at the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix once again, unleashing his divine power to the maximum. Although the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength was strong, it still couldn't kill him in an instant. It could only cause him some light injuries. This way it could be used to hone his divine skills. The 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique. In the process of charging out, Lu Ming cast the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique. His entire person seemed to have transformed into a Kunping, soaring up 90,000 miles. Bang! Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix collided once again. This time Lu Ming was forced back as usual. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. His injuries were more serious, but it was not a big deal. Lu Ming took out a healing divine pill that he had bought long ago and swallowed it. Once again he unleashed all his divine power and cast 3 divine skills at the same time, attacking the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. The amount of divine power consumed by casting 3 divine skills at the same time was shocking. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, the divine power in his body was depleted after a few attacks. However, Lu Ming had the Quant 1 Tai formula. The Quant 1 Tai formula stored a large amount of divine energy. At this moment the divine energy gushed out continuously. The divine energy in Lu Ming's body was replenished. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix collided more than a dozen times in a row. Lu Ming was forced to retreat backward each time. However, Lu Ming's eyes were filled with a strong desire to fight. Satisfying, satisfying. Although Lu Ming was injured at the moment, he was very happy. It was because of such an intense battle that his few godly skills were improving rapidly. Chapter 2733 Encountering the Yimo Academy. The 9-stage Crimson Gold Armor and the 3 Apocalyptic Strikes were both approaching the 4th stage. As for the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique, it was also approaching the limit of the 2nd stage. Lu Ming felt that he could make a breakthrough at any time. After that, Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix clashed a few more times. It's almost time, Lu Ming thought to himself. After such a long delay, and Hai and the others had already escaped far away. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix could not catch up even if she wanted to. Moreover, after the repeated collisions, although Lu Ming was only slightly injured each time, his injuries had already become quite serious. Right now it was still within the range of control, but if this continued his injuries would be serious and his origin would be damaged. It would not be worth it. I don't want to play with you anymore. Lu Ming chose a random direction and cast the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique. Like a Kunping, he dashed in that direction. The cold Jade Ice Phoenix screeched and chased after Lu Ming, its eyes filled with cold killing intent. It was obvious that it had been completely infuriated after failing to kill Lu Ming despite clashing with him continuously. Buzz. Buzz. 2 streaks of light streaked across the sky, leaving behind 2 bright trails of light as they disappeared into the distance. You're still a bit off if you want to catch up to me. Lu Ming smiled and activated the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique to its maximum. A Kunping really appeared on the surface of his body. It looked illusionary, but it also increased Lu Ming's speed. I've broken through to the 3rd level. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He didn't expect that he would unintentionally break through to the 3rd level of the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique. The 9 Heavenly Garuda Movement Technique was incomplete. There were only 7 levels and each level was more powerful than the previous. Once a breakthrough was made, one's speed would increase explosively. Buzz. Lu Ming disappeared into the distance in an instant, and the distance between him and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix widened rapidly. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was different from the other divine phoenixes. It was not known for its speed. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strongest point was its attack power. A casual attack contained the ultimate cold chi and could freeze everything. Lu Ming had only been able to fight against the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix for so long by relying on the divine power of the utmost cold. Therefore, the moment Lu Ming's 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique made a breakthrough, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix could no longer catch up to him. Not long after, Lu Ming had completely shaken off the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Lu Ming had only been able to fight against the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix for so long by relying on the divine power of the utmost cold. Therefore, the moment Lu Ming's 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique made a breakthrough, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix could no longer catch up to him. Not long after, Lu Ming had completely shaken off the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. This battle was worth it. Lu Ming smiled. The breakthrough in the 9 Heavenly Kunping Technique had improved his ability to protect himself. Immediately after, Lu Ming found a hidden place and swallowed another healing elixir to channel his energy to heal his injuries. Lu Ming's injuries were not serious. He had fully recovered after a few hours. Moreover, the divine power in his body was boiling and he was at his peak. Of course, this was all thanks to the Quant 1 formula. With the Quant 1 Tai formula, Lu Ming did not have to worry about the consumption of divine power. He could replenish it in an instant after using it. There are cold moonstones in this area. Since we're here, let's look for them. We can't miss them. Lu Ming pondered and left the place. He headed to the central area according to the map. He cultivated as he hurried on his way. They did not encounter any more danger along the way. After half a day, Lu Ming arrived at an icy mountain range. This mountain range was incomparably huge and stretched across the world. If one wanted to cross it, one had to cross it. Roar. From afar, one could hear terrifying roars coming from the mountain range. It was obvious that there were terrifying wild beasts living in the mountain range. Lu Ming retracted his aura and landed on the ground. He used his ident 1 Tai and rushed in. Not long after he rushed into the mountain range, a huge creature pounced on Lu Ming. It was a giant lizard that was dozens of meters tall. It was snow-white and emitted a cold aura. Its body was covered in a layer of ice armor, which seemed to have amazing defensive power. Lu Ming immediately thrust his spear. Buzz. The sound of metal clashing rang out. The long spear pierced the lizard's ice armor, and shattered ice flew in all directions. It made an ear-piercing sound. Break! Kill! Lu Ming shouted and divine power burst forth. The long spear exploded with a terrifying penetrating power, piercing through the ice armor and killing the lizard. This desolate beast is so powerful. Lu Ming thought to himself that the ice-armored lizard's cultivation was only equivalent to a first-stage true god, but its ability was much stronger than many second-stage true god experts, and it was even harder to kill. The Ice Soul clan's ancestral land was filled with cold air. The desolate beasts that lived there were generally stronger. After killing the lizard, Lu Ming continued to venture deeper into the mountain range. Following that, different wild beasts charged at Lu Ming. Fortunately, they were not particularly strong. There was no one as strong as the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Not long after, Lu Ming had already crossed more than half of the mountain range. A few icy armored giant pythons appeared and attacked Lu Ming. The abilities of these few icy armored giant pythons were astonishingly strong. Each of them was not weaker than an ordinary fifth-stage true god. In addition, it had amazing defense and was very difficult to kill. Lu Ming had to put in a lot of effort before he could kill it. The skin and bones of this kind of icy giant python are good forging materials. They can be used to forge a mid-grade divine weapon, soft armor, and a soft whip. Lu Ming pondered for a moment before he took action and peeled off the skin and bones of the few icy giant pythons. The soft armor and whips made from this kind of thing were most suitable for strong people who cultivated ice attribution power. Their power would increase and they could be sold for a good price. There's danger. Lu Ming, who was peeling the snake's skin, suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He moved 100 meters away. Bang! Bang! A few rays of black light bombarded the spot where Lu Ming had been standing. One of the rays even slashed the ice-armored python, cutting it into two. What a powerful force. Lu Ming's pupils constricted. He was very clear about the defense of the ice-armored giant python. Even if he used all his strength, he would not be able to break through it so easily. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. With a flash, a dozen figures appeared not far away. Unique Devil Academy Lu Xianxia. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a cold glint. These dozen people were from the Unique Devil Academy. Originally, there were 18 people from the Unique Devil Academy. However, it seemed that there were only 16 of them. It seemed that 2 of them had already died. The person in the lead was Lu Xianxia. Lu Ming, you're the only one left in your Kongxian sect? Lu Xianxia said as he swept his gaze across the room. So what if I'm alone? Lu Ming said indifferently. It's nothing. I can only say that you're unlucky to have met us here. Previously on Ice Soul Star, Bingqing was there to stop you, but now there's no one to help you. Lu Xianxia said coldly, his strong killing intent spreading out without restraint. If you want to kill me, you'll have to pay a painful price. Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand and a strong fighting spirit emanated from him. He'll be the main attacker. You guys support me from behind and kill him as soon as possible. Lu Xianxia sent a voice transmission to the other members of the Unique Devil Academy. The abilities that Lu Ming had displayed back then were too shocking. Other than him, the others were not reliable and could easily be killed by Lu Ming. Only when he stepped forward and the others attacked from behind would it be foolproof. Chapter 2734 Great Battle against Lu Xianxia Buzz. After the voice transmission ended, Lu Xianxia's figure rushed out. At the same time, the black lines on his face glowed, emitting a few rays of black light. This black light was the one that had ambushed Lu Ming earlier. It was extremely powerful and Lu Ming did not dare to be careless. Boom! Lu Ming's fighting spirit surged. He immediately activated the double combat power of the battle character formula. The 5 divine fires in his dantian burned fiercely and all his divine power burst out in an instant. In an instant, Lu Ming stabbed more than 10 times in succession. More than 10 spear shadows were thrust out and collided with the black light that Lu Xianxia had launched. Boom! 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 A series of explosions rang out and the ice rocks on the ground cracked. Lu Ming's body trembled as he felt an extremely powerful force surging towards him, causing him to retreat rapidly. Buzz! Buzz! The long spear in Lu Ming's palm vibrated continuously. He felt that the hand that was holding the spear was numb. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's face was a little solemn. Lu Xianxia's strength was truly shocking. He was a 5th-tier true god and could control divine power. His strength was far beyond what An Hai and the others could compare to. Kill! At the same time, the other people from the unique Devil Academy also made their moves. For example, Wuxia and the others were filled with killing intent and launched terrifying attacks. Lu Ming immediately activated the 9-layer scarlet gold armor. A scarlet gold battle armor covered his entire body. At the same time, Lu Ming retreated rapidly to avoid the attacks. You want to hide? Stay. Lu Xianxia said coldly and charged at Lu Ming again. The black patterns on his face began to glow again, bursting forth with rays of black light. This black light was sharper than a divine blade, and its speed was astonishing. Again, die! Lu Ming shouted. His fighting spirit suddenly grew stronger. He had successfully triggered the tripled combat power. Then Lu Ming used the 3 apocalyptic strikes. The spear's radiance burst forth and once again collided with Lu Xianxia's black radiance. This time Lu Ming had successfully dispelled Lu Xianxia's attack. At the same time he had blocked all the attacks from the others. You do have some strength. Lu Xianxia's cold voice was heard, but the killing intent in his eyes was even stronger. The more powerful Lu Ming was, the more he had to be eliminated. Kill! Lu Xianxia let out a long howl and his aura became even more terrifying. His entire body was shrouded in a layer of black divine power, and he looked like a demonic god. The lines on his face glowed even brighter. Then a huge seal condensed in his hand and he smashed it down on Lu Ming. Boom! The seal was as large as a mountain and its power was extremely terrifying. Before it even landed, a terrifying force surged and the ice stones on the ground continuously exploded. The huge seal directly enveloped Lu Ming. Lu Ming had seen Lu Xianxia use this move against the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix before. One must know that Lu Xianxia did not control the ultimate cold divine power. When he fought with the cold Jade Ice Phoenix he had to resist the ultimate cold chi of the cold Jade Ice Phoenix. But even so he was still able to resist the cold Jade Ice Phoenix, which showed his power. 3 apocalyptic strikes break the sky. Lu Ming did not dare to be careless. He attacked with all his might. A dazzling spear radiance soared into the sky and collided with the black seal, causing a huge boom. Then a figure fell to the ground and crashed heavily. It was Lu Ming. Lu Xianxia's ability was indeed extremely shocking. Even though Lu Ming had used his full strength, he was still no match for him. This is a good chance, kill. Wuxia roared and attacked together with the other people from the unique Devil Academy. They launched attacks one after another at Lu Ming. Boom! The ground exploded and a figure shot into the sky like a ROC. Although Lu Ming was no match for Lu Xianxia, his injuries were not too serious. He activated the 9 heavenly Kun Ping technique and flew up into the 9 heavens, avoiding the attacks of Wuxia and the others. If you want to leave, then stay. Lu Xianxia's entire person was like a black demonic light. He soared into the sky and charged toward Lu Ming. Let's go. Lu Ming did not linger in the battle. He cast the 9 heavenly Kun Ping technique, turned around and left. With his current strength he was still slightly weaker than Lu Xianxia. With the help of the other people from the unique Devil Academy, he was definitely not a match for Lu Xianxia. If they continued to fight, he would be in danger. The third stage of the 9 Heavenly Kunping technique was shockingly fast. Lu Ming seemed to have turned into a shadow as he sped away. If you want to escape from me? In your dreams, evil demon wings. Lu Xianxia shouted coldly. The lines on his face glowed even brighter and spread to the rest of his body. Soon the lines covered the rest of his body. Then a pair of wings suddenly appeared on his back. It was a pair of devil-like wings. This was the innate secret skill of Lu Xianxia's clan. Buzz. After extending his demonic wings, Lu Xianxia's speed suddenly increased explosively and he charged at Lu Ming. He was actually slightly faster than Lu Ming. It was not that his innate secret technique was stronger than the 9 Heavenly Kunping technique, but Lu Xianxia's cultivation base was higher, so he was naturally faster when he used it. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. His divine power surged and he flew forward at full speed. The speed of the two was very shocking. Along the way, some wild beasts noticed them, but they didn't have time to attack. The two paused, said bye in a flash. Quick, follow them. The rest of the people from the unique Demon Academy also rushed in the direction that Lu Ming and Lu Xianxia had flown in. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming and Lu Xianxia had flown tens of thousands of miles away. However, the distance between them was getting closer and closer. You can't escape. If I don't kill you today, my name isn't Lu Xianxia. Lu Xianxia said coldly. With a wave of his hands, a few rays of black light slashed toward Lu Ming, hitting the 9-layered scarlet gold armor on Lu Ming's body and almost shattering it. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Xianxia kept on launching attacks, but Lu Ming blocked them with his spear. In the blink of an eye, they had traveled thousands of miles. Lu Ming's expression suddenly changed. A large canyon appeared in front of him. The large canyon was filled with an extremely terrifying cold air. This cold air even made people feel a sense of danger. Lu Ming did not look back and rushed into the canyon. After Lu Ming rushed into the Great Canyon, he realized that it was not an ordinary canyon. The bottom of the canyon was actually filled with water. Yes, in such a cold place there was actually water, like a long and narrow lake. White mist kept rising from the lake, blocking the view of the valley. What was shocking was that the white mist that spread out from the lake surface made sizzling sounds when it touched Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming was circulating the 9-layer scarlet gold armor. However, a layer of frost had appeared on the surface of the 9-layer scarlet gold armor. The 9-layer scarlet gold armor had suffered serious damage, and waves of terrifying cold air were spreading towards Lu Ming's body. What a terrifying cold chi. Lu Ming was shocked. The cold air coming out of the lake was so cold that even the 9-layer scarlet gold armor was almost frozen. Lu Ming hurriedly circulated his ultimate cold divine energy to offset the cold air outside. However, Lu Xianxia didn't have the divine power of extreme cold. He used all his divine power to block it, but the surface of his body was still covered in a layer of frost, which was bone-chilling. Chapter 2735. The treasure at the bottom of the lake. Lu Xianxia couldn't help but slow down. He even retracted his demonic wings because they were also covered with a layer of frost. This is a good place. Let's go deeper. Lu Ming's eyes flickered as he retracted the divine power of absolute frost. Immediately, Lu Ming's body was covered in a layer of frost. He looked as if he had almost been frozen into a snowman. He trembled as he continued to fly deeper into the canyon. At the sight of Lu Ming, Lu Xianxia thought that Lu Ming would not be able to withstand it. The cold chi here is so terrifying. I don't think you can resist it even if you're at the 8th level of ethereal god realm. This place will be your grave. The killing intent in Lu Xianxia's eyes turned even colder. He continued to chase after Lu Ming. Soon they were deep in the canyon. The cold air here was even more terrifying. What is under the water? It's actually emitting such terrifying cold chi? Lu Ming pondered in his heart. He was a little curious. At the same time he slowed down. Brat, die. Lu Xianxia shouted coldly and launched an attack on Lu Ming. However, he had to resist the cold air outside, so the power of his attacks was naturally much weaker than outside. You're the one who's going to die. Lu Ming suddenly turned around, his eyes as cold as a knife. He circulated the ultimate cold divine energy and blocked the cold air outside. Then all his divine power burst out and attacked Lu Xianxia. Boom. Boom. After a few explosions, a figure was pushed back. It was Lu Xianxia. How did you use your full strength? Lu Xianxia shouted in shock. And NBSP in this place, the cold energy was too terrifying. If one used divine power to block it, one's body would quickly be frozen, and if one used divine power to block it, one's combat power would be bound to weaken. However, Lu Ming's attack power was not weak at all. No, you've mastered the divine power of extreme cold. How is this possible? You didn't use the divine power of extreme cold just now. Thinking of this, Lu Xianxia cried out even more in shock and disbelief. A single person could actually control several Shen powers at the same time. Kill. Lu Ming could not be bothered to talk nonsense with him. Once again he charged at Lu Xianxia. The spear light was like a rainbow, revealing a terrifying killing intent. You want to kill me? Dream on. Lu Xianxia roared. Runes appeared all over his body, making him even stronger. He conjured a huge pitch-black cauldron and hurled it at Lu Ming. However, it was a pity that he still had to use a part of his divine power to resist the cold air outside and could not unleash his full power. He was at a disadvantage in the collision with Lu Ming. Boom. The pitch-black seal shattered, and Lu Xianxia was sent flying backward while vomiting blood. Kill. Lu Ming seized the opportunity and attacked Lu Xianxia frantically. Oh. The energy surged and the water on the lake churned, stirring up thousands of waves. Some of the lake water fell on the surface of Lu Ming's body, and a bone-piercing chill instantly filled Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming could not help but shiver. One must know that Lu Ming was circulating the ultimate cold divine energy at the moment, but he still felt so cold. The temperature of the lake water was shockingly low. If Lu Ming was already in such a state, Lu Xianxia was naturally in a worse state. He was splashed by the lake water and his body turned into an ice block. Even his divine power was frozen. Ah! Lu Xianxia roared and burned his divine power. His divine power burned like fire, melting the ice and removing the coldness. However, Lu Ming's attack had arrived. A spear's gleam was aimed at Lu Xianxia's vital point. He roared and dodged the attack, but his chest was still pierced by the spear's gleam and his body flew far away. Lu Ming, you better remember this. Lu Xianxia roared, stretched out his demonic wings and turned to run. He knew that he would not be able to kill Lu Ming today. If he continued to stay, he might really die here. Where do you think you're going? Lu Ming gave chase. However, Lu Xianxia was burning his divine power with all his might at the moment. His speed was astonishing. Lu Ming did not manage to catch up with him for a while. Lu Xianxia rushed out of the canyon very quickly. After rushing out of the canyon, Lu Xianxia spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His aura was weak and he was heavily injured. He didn't dare to stay any longer. He turned into a streak of light and flew into the distance. It's a pity that this guy got away. Lu Ming did not pursue him. He sighed to himself. Lu Xianxia flew all the way. Not long after, he met the other people from the Unique Demon Academy. When the other people from the Unique Demon Academy saw that Lu Xianxia was injured, they were shocked. Senior brother Lu, what's wrong? Where's Lu Ming? Could it be that Lu Ming has been killed by senior brother Lu? The disciples of the Yimo Academy spoke one after another. Lu Xianxia's face turned even gloomier. Lu Ming is still alive. He's very cunning and is hiding in a dangerous place. I was by him accidentally. I'll find a place to recuperate first. The others were shocked when they heard that. It turned out that Lu Ming was not dead. He seemed to have tricked Lu Xianxia and injured him. Immediately they found a hidden place to stay. Lu Xianxia did not reveal that Lu Ming controlled several types of divine powers. He had his own selfish motives and wanted to kill Lu Ming in secret to seize that kind of cultivation technique. To be able to control several divine powers at the same time, what kind of divine technique is this? I have to get it. Lu Xianxia's eyes glowed with a cold light. He swallowed a divine pill and began to heal. Lu Ming did not leave the canyon. He was curious about the cold air in the canyon and decided to explore it. Lu Ming went deeper into the canyon. The deeper he went into the canyon, the thicker the cold air became. If he did not cultivate cold attribute divine power, it would be difficult to resist it. However, Lu Ming had the divine power of frost and could block it. Soon they reached the end of the canyon, which was cut off by an ice wall. The cold air here was the thickest and it was constantly emitted from the lake. There must be something underwater. Let's go down and take a look. Lu Ming made up his mind and then circulated the ultimate cold divine power, covering it with all his strength and plunged into the lake. The moment he entered the lake, Lu Ming shivered again. The temperature in the lake was shockingly low. However, Lu Ming still blocked it and slowly dived down. The surface of the lake was not very deep, only about 100 meters. Very soon Lu Ming reached the bottom of the lake. The moment Lu Ming reached the bottom of the lake, he noticed something strange. There was a ball of snow-white liquid at the bottom of the lake. It was the size of a fist and was suspended in the water, emitting a shocking chill. Lu Ming was certain that the source of the chilliness here was this ball of liquid. What kind of liquid is this? It's actually filled with such a shocking chill? Lu Ming sized it up carefully, but he did not recognize it at all. This is most likely a treasure, I can't miss it. Lu Ming approached it slowly. There was nothing unusual. Then he took out a storage ring. A force of attraction appeared and enveloped the liquid, successfully storing it into one of the storage rings. As soon as the liquid was taken away, the temperature in the area rose rapidly. The chill was greatly reduced and it was not as cold as before. That liquid was indeed the source of the chill here. I'll study it after I bring it back. Lu Ming held the storage ring in his hand and was prepared to take it back to study it slowly. However, at this moment a scene that shocked Lu Ming appeared. Chapter 2736 Refining a Treasure. Lu Ming grabbed the storage ring and was about to put it away when a terrifying chill suddenly gushed out from the storage ring, almost freezing Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming quickly let go of the storage ring and saw that a layer of frost had appeared on the storage ring. Then a crack appeared on the storage ring. As the first crack appeared, a second crack immediately appeared. Then more and more cracks appeared and finally the cracks were like a dense spider web. Bang! A moment later the storage ring exploded into pieces like a piece of ice, and the liquid reappeared in the lake, exuding a shocking chill. The storage ring was frozen and shattered. Lu Ming was at a loss for words. Fortunately, there was nothing else in the storage ring. Lu Ming was afraid that other things would be frozen by the liquid. Therefore, he took an empty storage ring to store the liquid. He did not expect that even the storage ring could not store the liquid. Kid, such a treasure usually needs to be stored in a corresponding tool or sealed before it can be taken away. You can't take it away with a storage ring. In his sea of consciousness, the voice of the Quant. One Thai formula sounded. Old Liang, do you know any sealing techniques? Can you teach me one or two? Lu Ming said. I don't understand. The Quant. One formula replied, causing Lu Ming to roll his eyes. Could it be that I can't take this treasure with me? Lu Ming was a little speechless. He felt extremely upset. This ball of liquid was definitely a rare treasure. It would be strange if he didn't feel bad after encountering a treasure and not being able to take it away. That might not be the case. Didn't you cultivate an ice attribute secret technique? You can directly refine this liquid and make it a part of your secret technique. Not only can you take it away, but it can also transform your secret technique and give it shocking power. The Quant. One Thai formula said. Yeah. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He had originally come here to find a cold moonstone to cultivate the cold ice chain, but other cold attribute treasures might be able to replace the cold moonstone. If he used this liquid to cultivate, he might be able to greatly increase the power of the ice shackles. Then let's start. Lu Ming was filled with Asian. He immediately activated the ice chain secret skill and 9 ice chains extended from his body. Kid, wait a moment. Rather than cultivating 9 chains, why don't you cultivate 1? Put more focus on cultivating 1 ice chain in this liquid. That way you can truly display the power of this liquid. If you cultivate 9 chains, the power will be less powerful. The Quant. 1 Thai formula reminded him again. That's reasonable. Lu Ming nodded. With a thought, he kept the other 8 ice chains, leaving only 1 remaining. That ice chain wrapped around the ball of liquid. As soon as it wrapped around the ball of liquid, the ice chain made a cracking sound as if it was about to be frozen. The ice chains were originally extremely cold, but at this moment they were about to be frozen. One could see how cold the liquid was. Moreover, there was a shocking chill that rushed into Lu Ming's body through the ice chains. Lu Ming quickly circulated his god's power and the divine power of frost to resist it. Then he began to absorb and refine the liquid according to the method of the secret skill ice chain. This was a difficult and slow process. Time passed. Said by day. 1 day, 5 days, 10 days, a month. Lu Ming's refining took 2 months. During this period of time, Lu Shangkai had led the people from the unique demon academy to block Lu Ming at the entrance of the canyon. However, more than a month had passed, and Lu Ming had not come out. Lu Shangkai thought that Lu Ming had left long ago and had left later on. After 2 months of refining, the ball of liquid was finally completely refined by Lu Ming and it was completely integrated into the ice chain. The ice chain seemed to have turned into a physical substance. It was bone-chilling and emitted a terrifying chill. Good. Lu Ming was extremely satisfied. The power of this ice chain was very shocking. It could be Lu Ming's trump card. Once used, it could catch the opponent off guard and freeze them. Satisfied, Lu Ming kept the ice chain. The ice chain retracted into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. It had already been refined. Naturally, it had no effect on Lu Ming. It's been 2 months. I have to hurry to the central area. Lu Ming pondered and left the valley, heading towards the central area. Along the way, Lu Ming was also looking for the cold moon stone. Unfortunately, he did not find any traces of the cold moon stone. Just like that, Lu Ming finally neared his destination after half a month. In the central area there was a huge ice mountain. This ice mountain was hundreds of thousands of meters high and pierced into the sky. This was the destination of their trip. The ice jade cold heart that the Ice Soul clan was looking for was on this ice mountain. However, this ice mountain was not easy to climb. There was a terrifying restriction here that made it impossible to fly. One could only climb up along the mountain. However, there were many powerful desolate beasts guarding the mountain. The 9th young master of the Ice Soul clan, Bing Qing, and many other members of the Ice Soul clan had arrived. In addition, Lu Shangkai and the others had also arrived. They didn't go up immediately. Instead, they were waiting for everyone to gather their strongest power and then go up together. Someone's here again. Suddenly, someone looked in one direction. 9 figures flew over from the other side. These 9 people were Xianxia and Hai and the others. After a few months of trekking, they had finally arrived at this place. The Xian sect. Lu Shangkai's eyes turned cold as soon as he saw the people from the Xian sect. His body moved and he charged toward Hai and the others. His powerful aura was like a mountain, pressing down on Hai and the others. Boom. The bodies of Hai and the others trembled violently as they retreated. Some of the weaker cultivators even spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Shangkai, what are you doing? Hai was furious. What are you doing? Lu Shangkai sneered, his cold killing intent spreading, making the surrounding air even colder. Buzz. 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 The other disciples of the unique demon academy flashed and surrounded Hai and his group. The faces of Hai and the others turned pale. Where's Lu Ming? Lu Shangkai asked coldly. I don't know. We were separated from him a long time ago. The long-faced young man replied. Lost? Alright, since that kid isn't here, I'll take your lives in exchange. Lu Shangkai said ferociously. The black patterns on his face glowed and he was about to kill Hai and the others. The expressions of Hai and the others changed drastically. The 9 of them gathered together and set up layers of defense. Brother Lu, wait a moment. At this moment, Bing Qing spoke and walked over. 9th young lord, are you going to stop me? Lu Shangkai looked at Bing Qing. The Ice Soul clan has invited you here to retrieve the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Since we haven't gotten it yet, I must make sure that we gather the strongest forces we can. If you have any grudges, you can settle them after we get the Ice Jade Cold Heart. I won't stop you then, Bing Qing said. His meaning was clear. I need everyone's strength to get the heart of the frozen jade. After I get it, you can fight however you want. Chapter 2737 Fighting Lu Shangkai again. Lu Shangkai's expression changed. Then he sneered and said, since the 9th young lord has spoken, I'll naturally give him face. However, the Xian sect has offended me. I can't just let this go. Then he looked at Hai and the others again. He said condescendingly, I'll give you a chance now. Kneel down and admit your mistakes and I'll spare your lives. What? You want us to kneel and kowtow to admit our mistakes? Don't even think about it. Hai suddenly shouted. It was simply an insult to kneel down and kowtow to Lu Shangkai in front of so many people. Moreover, if news of this spread to the Xian sect, they would not be able to live in this world anymore. This was not only their personal humiliation, but also the Xian sections. That's right, Lu Shangkai. Every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt has its debtor. Lu Ming has offended you. You should look for Lu Ming, not us. The long-faced young man also shouted. Lu Ming is from your Zhou Xian sect. He has offended me and all of you are guilty. Now kneel down. Lu Xianxia shouted coldly. The aura on his body became even more violent. Like a mountain, it pressed down on Hai and the others. A few of the weaker cultivators couldn't resist it and spat out blood. Their bodies fell to the ground. Only Hai and the long-faced young man were still struggling to hold on. If you still want to resist, get down. Lu Xianxia shouted coldly. He stretched out his hand and a huge palm formed. It pressed down on Hai and the long-faced young man. The two of them roared and used all their strength to resist, but they were no match for the big hand. Their bodies trembled violently under the pressure of the big hand, and they fell to the ground like two meteorites. Boom. Lu Xianxia looked down from above, his aura growing more and more violent as he pressed down on Hai and the others. Kneel down. Lu Xianxia took one step at a time and a violent pressure pressed down on Hai and the others. Plop. Finally, someone with a weaker cultivation base couldn't take it anymore and knelt down with a plop. Kneel down. The other experts from the unique Devil Academy also joined in and burst out with their aura. With so many experts, the pressure was even more shocking. The disciples of the Zhou Xian sect could not bear it and knelt down one by one. In the end, Hai and the long-faced young man were the only ones who hadn't knelt down. They were struggling to hold on. Still not kneeling, you're really looking for death. Lu Xianxia shouted coldly and pressed his palm down again. A huge palm formed and forced Hai and the others to kneel on the ground. Lu Xianxia, you're so impressive. At this moment, a cold voice came from afar. Before the voice could fade away, a spear's gleam had already flown over and pierced through the spear's gleam that Lu Xianxia had condensed. Lu Ming. Lu Xianxia looked into the distance with a cold gaze. A figure was approaching from the distance. Who else could it be but Lu Ming? After more than half a month's journey, Lu Ming finally arrived at this place. He happened to see Lu Xianxia pressing Hai and the rest. Boss. Hai was overjoyed to see Lu Ming. Lu Ming stepped on the air and stopped not far away. Brat, you finally dared to show yourself. I thought you didn't dare to show yourself. Lu Xianxia said coldly. Why wouldn't I dare to show myself when I've just been defeated? Lu Ming smiled in disdain. At the side, Bing Qing and the others were all shocked. A defeated opponent? Could it be that Lu Ming had already fought with Lu Xianxia before and Lu Xianxia lost in the end? Lu Ming was so powerful? Nonsense. You're just making use of the environment. Now let's see how you're going to fight me. Lu Xianxia shouted, his killing intent growing stronger. You two, if there's anything, let's settle it later. Bing Qing stood up and said. Ninth young master, don't worry. I won't kill him now. I just want him to kneel down and kowtow to me. Lu Xianxia said coldly. I also have the same intention. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with killing intent as he looked at Lu Xianxia. Seeing the two of them at daggers drawn, Bing Qing shook her head helplessly and retreated to the side. Lu Ming, kneel down and kowtow. Lu Xianxia roared. The lines on his face glowed and quickly covered his entire body. Boosh, boosh. A few rays of black light burst out and slashed at Lu Ming. Fight. Lu Ming's body erupted with a shocking fighting spirit. Previously, he had been silently activating the battle formula. At this moment, he had successfully activated the double combat strength of the battle formula. Buzz. The long spear trembled, causing the air to explode continuously. A few spear rays pierced through the air and shot forward. After a few consecutive booms, the spear's gleam and Lu Xianxia's radiance collapsed at the same time. Lu Ming's figure drifted backward. So powerful. Although Lu Ming retreated, the others were still shocked by Lu Ming's combat strength. To them, Lu Ming could actually block Lu Xianxia's attack. It was simply unbelievable. Kill. Lu Xianxia bellowed, unleashing all his strength. He pushed his hands forward and a huge black seal condensed, pressing down on Lu Ming. The huge seal stirred up waves that filled the sky, and its power was astonishing. The 9 Heavenly Kun Ping Technique. Lu Ming cast the 9 Heavens Kun Ping Technique. Like a Kun Ping, he soared into the sky and dodged Lu Xianxia's attack in a flash. If you want to leave, stay. A pair of demonic wings stretched out from Lu Xianxia's back. As he flapped them, he chased after Lu Ming at an alarming speed and launched a fierce attack at the same time. Break the sky. Lu Ming suddenly turned around and cast the 3 apocalyptic strikes. Boom. A mushroom cloud seemed to have exploded in the sky. Then Lu Ming's figure drifted backward. In a head-on confrontation, Lu Ming was indeed not Lu Xiankai's match. The main reason was that the difference in cultivation level was too great. Lu Ming, if you don't kneel down today you'll die. Lu Xiankai's cold voice was heard and he continued to charge at Lu Ming. Boom. Boom. The two figures flickered and collided in the sky. They were so fast that some of the weaker cultivators couldn't even see their trajectories. Lu Ming is going to be defeated. Someone muttered. After a series of collisions, Lu Ming's breathing was already a little unstable. Blood was flowing out from the corner of his mouth. Kneel down. Lu Xiangkai looked down from above. He held a huge seal in his hand and smashed it down on Lu Ming, trying to suppress Lu Ming and make him kneel on the ground. Now. Lu Ming's eyes glimmered, staring at Lu Xiangkai's figure. He then performed the air-piercing move and charged at Lu Xiangkai as one with his spear. Boom. Lu Ming's body trembled violently from the collision and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. At the sight of this, Lu Xiangkai's expression turned ferocious. He flapped his demonic wings and charged at Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. In the blink of an eye he was already close to Lu Ming. However, he realized that Lu Ming's expression was very calm. There was even a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Not good. Lu Xiangkai's heart thumped wildly, having a bad feeling. Ice chains, let's go. Lu Ming said indifferently. A chain flew out of his body. It was the secret skill ice chain. As soon as the ice chain appeared, the temperature of the surrounding space dropped sharply. Chapter 2738 Kneel Down. The ice chain was a secret skill that was mainly condensed by divine power. Its length could be long or short. Lu Ming suddenly cast it. Like a long snake, it turned into a few thousand meters long and enveloped Lu Xiangkai. Then it suddenly tightened, trying to lock Lu Xiangkai in place. This is... Lu Xiangkai's expression changed drastically as he felt a bone-piercing chill envelop him, trying to freeze him into a popsicle. Break! Lu Xiangkai roared and divine power burst forth. The patterns on his body glowed and black rays of light sharper than divine blades shot out, slashing at the chains. Buzz! 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 Sparks flew in all directions, but the chain remained unscathed. If it had not been for the refinement of the ball of frosty liquid, the ice chains would have been unable to withstand Lu Xiangkai's attack. But now Lu Xiangkai was unable to cut through the ice chains. Whoosh! The ice chains trembled and shrunk rapidly, wrapping around Lu Xiangkai. Break, break, break! Lu Xiangkai roared madly and continued to unleash his power. He even condensed a huge seal to attack, but it was still useless. The terrifying cold air continuously invaded Lu Xiangkai's body. He felt as if the blood in his body had been frozen. In the next moment, the chain wrapped itself tightly around Lu Xiangkai's body, freezing him into a popsicle. Although Lu Xiangkai had been using his divine power to resist, he wouldn't be able to hold on for long if this continued. Lu Xiangkai was actually defeated. Everyone was dumbfounded. They had never expected such a scene to happen. In particular, the faces of the disciples of the unique demon academy turned pale. They were very clear about how powerful Lu Xiangkai was. However, even Lu Xiangkai was no match for Lu Ming. If they were to go up against him, they would be even more vulnerable. What a terrifying chill. Bing Qing and the other paragons of the Ice Soul clan looked at Lu Ming and the ice chains in shock. This was because the coldness from the ice chains made even them feel apprehensive. They were experts in playing with ice, and it was rare for them to feel a chill that could make their hearts palpitate. Now you're the one kneeling. Lu Ming walked towards Lu Xiangkai step by step. With a single thought, he waved the ice chain and smashed it heavily on the ground. Boom! The ground trembled and a huge crater was created. Lu Xiangkai was trapped in the crater, spitting out a mouthful of blood. His body was still bound by the ice chains. At this moment he couldn't move at all. His entire body was frozen stiff. Following that, Lu Ming controlled the ice chain, lifted Lu Xiangkai up and smashed him down again. This time Lu Ming controlled it very well. He made Lu Xiangkai kneel on the ground. Lu Xiangkai howled madly like a wild beast. His eyes were bloodshot as if he wanted to eat Lu Ming. A great humiliation. This was a great humiliation. He actually knelt in front of Lu Ming in public. One should know that he was a genius who could control the divine grade divine power and was one of the top geniuses in the unique demon academy. Once he stepped into the heavenly god stage, he would become the holy son of the unique demon academy and have the chance to compete for the position of the dean of the unique demon academy. However, he actually knelt in front of Lu Ming in front of everyone. This was not only about his face, but also the face of the unique devil academy. If this matter were to spread to the unique demon academy, he would definitely lose the qualification to become a holy son. How could a person who knelt down in front of a disciple of the Kong Xian sect be qualified to become a saint? Wouldn't the reputation of the unique devil academy be greatly tarnished? Therefore, this kneel was equivalent to destroying Lu Shankai's future. That was why he was filled with hatred. He could not wait to skin Lu Ming alive. If you want others to kneel down, you should be prepared to kneel down. For the sake of the 9th young lord, I'll spare your life today. Lu Ming said coldly and kept the ice chain. Now, after Lu Ming's ice shackles had refined the ball of liquid, its power had increased greatly. Lu Ming no longer feared Lu Shankai. For now it was more important to reach the peak. Lu Ming estimated that there might be a cold moonstone on the peak. When he got the cold moonstone, Lu Ming would definitely kill Lu Shankai to get rid of any future trouble if he had the chance. After Lu Ming put away the ice chain, Lu Shankai's body was still frozen. He continued to circulate his divine power and his body only recovered after a moment. His heart was filled with endless killing intent. However, he held it back and suppressed it in his heart. Then he returned to the crowd from the unique devil academy with a gloomy expression. Everyone continued to wait. A few more days passed, and more people arrived one after another. This time, almost all the Heaven's Pride experts of the major sects had arrived. Of course, the number of people was a little less. They were probably dead. Alright, now that almost everyone is here, let's set off. The icy jade chilling heart is at the peak of that mountain, Bing Qing said as she looked at the icy peak that was as high as the sky. There are many wild beasts on that ice peak. The most shocking thing is that there are a few terrifying ice dragons at the bottom of the ice peak. Each of these ice dragons has reached the heavenly god realm. Bing Qing said. What? A heavenly god ice dragon? Are you kidding me? A celestial deity realm ice dragon is guarding. How can we possibly charge through? Are we courting death? That's right. A heavenly god ice dragon can freeze us into popsicles with one breath. 9th young lord, are you mistaken? Many people started to shout when they heard Bing Qing's words. That's right. We can't deal with a sky god ice dragon. Of course we don't need to. The Ice Soul clan has a plan. Bing Qing smiled. Only then did everyone calm down. Although the ice dragon is strong, the Ice Soul clan has prepared a type of cold heart jiri. We have injected a type of poison into this cold heart jiri. The ice dragon loves to eat the cold heart jiri as the most. Once it finds it, it will swallow it immediately. In that case, it will be poisoned. This kind of poison is enough to make a heavenly god ice dragon unconscious for half a month. Half a month's time is enough for us to rush to the top of the mountain and get the ice jade cold heart. Bing Qing explained. That's good. Everyone nodded. Immediately, everyone withdrew their auras and carefully approached the ice mountain. When they were a few hundred miles away from the ice mountain, they found a few ice dragons lying at the foot of the mountain. Each ice dragon was 10,000 meters long. They lay at the foot of the mountain like a few mountain ranges. You guys wait for me here. Bing Qing warned, and in a flash she moved forward. After traveling for a while, Bing Qing took out a jade box from her storage ring. The surface of the jade box was covered with strange runes. Bing Qing removed the runes carefully and opened the jade box. She took out a few stalks of cold heart jiri and placed them on the ground. Bing Qing ran and returned to Lu Ming and the rest side. After the cold heart jiri appeared, it immediately emitted a strong fragrance that spread thousands of miles away. The ice dragons immediately smelled the fragrance of the cold heart jiri. Their noses twitched a few times and they opened their eyes in unison. Chapter 2739 Dark Ice Race. A dragon's roar resounded, shaking the 9 heavens. The entire ice mountain trembled and a vast dragon's might filled the air. It was extremely terrifying. Lu Ming and the rest all concealed their auras and did not dare to move. The celestial deity realm was too powerful. It was far from what they could fight against. He could probably annihilate them all in one move. Thump, thump, thump. The ice dragon rose and stomped on the ground, causing the earth to rumble. The ice dragons gazes immediately locked onto the cold heart gyre. With a twist of their bodies, they arrived near the cold heart gyre. However, a look of doubt flashed in their eyes. The ice dragons were confused as to why a few stalks of cold heart gyre would suddenly appear here. However, even though they were confused, they still could not resist the temptation of the cold heart gyre. They opened their big mouths and each ice dragon swallowed one stalk of cold heart gyre. They looked like they were enjoying it. It's done. Bingqing was overjoyed and stared at the ice dragons. After the ice dragons finished eating the cold heart gyre, they turned around and walked back. However, as they walked, their bodies began to stagger as if they were drunk. In the end, they fell to the ground with a few thumps and fell asleep. The success. The ice dragon is unconscious. Someone called out in surprise. Everyone, let's set off. These ice dragons will definitely not wake up in half a month. Bingqing smiled and took the lead to rush towards the ice mountain. The others followed. Sure enough, when they approached the ice dragon didn't react at all and was still sleeping. Whoosh. Suddenly, a ray of sword light burst out. A young man actually stabbed his sword at the neck of an ice dragon. However, the sword stabbed into the ice dragon's neck, making a crisp sound and sending sparks everywhere. However, the ice dragon was not hurt at all. What are you doing? Do you want to die? If you wake up the ice dragon, well, I'll die. Bingqing shouted. Her face was extremely ugly as she stared at one of the young men. That person was a genius from the unique Devil Academy, and his eyes were filled with greed. It was obvious that this person wanted to kill the ice dragon and obtain its corpse. This ice dragon was a heavenly god-level existence. Everything on its body was a treasure. If it was brought out, it would be worth cities. Unfortunately, the heavenly god ice dragon's defense was too strong. Even if it lay there without moving, he could not break the defense. The young man's expression changed after being scolded by Bingqing. Don't act rashly. We can't kill a heavenly god ice dragon. Lu Xianxia also spoke. In fact, many people had the same thought just now. They wanted to kill the ice dragon, but now no one dared to do so. The ice dragon's defense was too strong. If they couldn't kill it in one move and only injured it, they would probably all die. If anyone does such a stupid thing again, don't blame me for being merciless. Bingqing warned before continuing forward. Soon they pass, said by a few ice dragons, and arrived at the foot of the ice mountain. When they came here, they felt that the world was filled with a powerful pressure that pressed down on them. Let's go. Bingqing was the first to rush up the ice mountain. Roar. Roar. They had only rushed out a few thousand meters when a series of roars came from the iceberg. The rocks that originally looked like ice stones suddenly moved and turned into desolate beasts. It turned out that many of the ice rocks were formed from desolate beasts. Now that they had come up, they immediately alarmed these desolate beasts. Among these dire beasts, there were ice-armored lizards, ice-armored pythons, ice-armored giant bulls, and so on. All of them were covered in ice armor as they roared and charged at Lu Ming and the rest. Kill. Bingqing was the first to charge forward. Sword light burst forth, and in an instant 3 desolate beasts were split in half. Whoosh. Lu Ming thrust his spear forward and pierced through one of the bulls, killing it on the spot. These wild beasts weren't too strong. Most of them were at peak ethereal god realm and some were at the first or second stage of true god realm. It wasn't too hard to kill them. They gathered together in the shape of an awl and quickly advanced towards the top of the ice mountain. However, as they continued to move up, the desolate beasts that appeared became stronger and more difficult to kill. Gradually, there were almost no virtual god-level wild beasts left. The ones that appeared were almost all true god-level wild beasts. Their speed was getting slower and slower. Bingqing was still fearless and invincible. Every move she made would kill a desolate beast. In addition, Lu Xianxia was also very strong. With a wave of his hand, rays of black light burst out, killing a stage 3 true god desolate beast. Lu Ming shook his long spear and pulled it out, splitting a 3rd stage true god-level ice-armored giant python into 2. With the 3 of them paving the way and the cooperation of the others, although their speed had slowed down, they were still slowly moving upwards, slowly approaching the peak of the mountain. If they continued, it wouldn't be long before they reached the peak of the mountain. However, at this moment a change occurred. From a place even further away, waves of beast roars suddenly came. Then the mountain rumbled and large groups of desolate beasts rushed over. There were some on the left and right, and in front of these wild beasts, there were a few figures moving rapidly. With one look, one could tell that those few figures were not wild beasts, but the Ice Soul Clan. Yes, she looked very similar to the Ice Soul Clan. She had long white hair and white eyes. The only difference was that their skin was slightly darker. Dark Ice Clan. It's the Dark Ice Clan. How did they enter the ancestral land? A few of the Ice Soul Clan's geniuses roared immediately. Dark Ice Clan? What's the Dark Ice Clan? Someone asked. The Ice Soul Clan's elites all looked gloomy. Let me explain. The Dark Ice Clan was originally a member of the Ice Soul Clan in the distant past. However, the Dark Ice Clan was later declared to be the Ice Soul Clan and started an internal war. The war was extremely brutal. In the end, the ancestral land of the Ice Soul Clan was blown up, and our strength was greatly reduced. In the end, the Dark Ice Clan was defeated, and the remaining people went into hiding. They've been fighting against the Ice Soul Clan in secret all these years. Bing Qing quickly explained. Lu Ming's heart stirred and he understood many things. He had heard that the Ice Soul Clan used to be very powerful, but after a shocking war broke out, their ancestral land collapsed and their strength declined a lot. They were no match for the Red Flame Clan. In the distant past, the Ice Soul Clan's strength was above the Scarlet Flame Clan. It was the true #1 force in the Qin Heaven Star Zone. Turned out that there was a civil war. In the past, the Dark Ice race couldn't enter the ancestral land without the ancestral token. This time they can enter the ancestral land and have been hiding in the dark for a long time. Bing Qing said through gritted teeth. Everyone understood what Bing Qing meant. It was obvious that the Dark Ice race had entered earlier than them, but they should not have been able to deal with the Ice Dragon. They were hiding in the dark. After they had defeated the Ice Dragon and killed their way up to the mountain peak, they would then appear and attract other wild beasts to attack Lu Ming and the rest. They would then reap the benefits without doing anything. You want to obtain the Ice Jade Chilling Heart? Impossible. Go to A young man of the Dark Ice Clan laughed eerily and dashed toward them. Chapter 2740 Fighting against the Dark Ice Race's prodigy. The Dark Ice Clan members' eyes were filled with ferocity. When they approached Lu Ming's group, some of the wild beasts that were originally attacking Lu Ming's group also attacked them. In addition to the wild beasts that were chasing them from behind, the few Dark Ice race youths were instantly drowned by the group of wild beasts and died in the blink of an eye. However, the dire beasts that they had attracted had naturally discovered Lu Ming and his group and joined the attack. Lu Ming and his group were surrounded. It was obvious that the young men of the Dark Ice race had sacrificed themselves to attract the wild beasts and trap them. You guys look. Someone called out and looked in one direction. In that direction, many figures flickered and rushed to the peak of the mountain. They were all from the Dark Ice race. They wanted to reach the peak first. Clearly, their goal was also the Icy Jade Frozen Heart. Bing Qing roared, revealing an anxious expression. You guys block them first, I'll charge up first. Let's go. Bing Qing said and exploded out with all her power, slashing out a terrifying sword light. More than 10 desolate beasts were killed in a row. Bing Qing quickly charged forward. She wanted to rush up alone and stop the Dark Ice race. The Ice Jade Cold Heart was of great importance. It was related to the rise of the Ice Soul Clan. Could not fall into the hands of the Dark Ice Clan. Bing Qing's combat strength was amazing, and he quickly opened up a path and gradually broke out of the siege. At the same time, another figure from the Dark Ice race suddenly changed direction and charged towards Bing Qing. When Bing Qing finally broke out of the desolate beasts' encirclement, the young man from the Dark Ice race had already arrived. Your opponent is me. The young man from the Dark Ice Clan said coldly as he slashed his saber at Bing Qing. The saber light was cold and its power was shocking. Bing Qing waved her sword to block and the two of them fought. The young man from the Dark Ice Clan was obviously a peerless Heaven's favorite as well. He was actually evenly matched with Bing Qing. As for the other Dark Ice race members, they were quickly approaching the peak of the mountain. Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he cast the ice chain. Whoosh! An ice chain flew out and whipped at the dire beasts. What happened next surprised Lu Ming. When he swung the ice chain, the dire beasts actually looked frightened. They did not dare to resist and kept retreating. It's actually like this. Lu Ming was overjoyed. It was probably because of the ball of cold liquid. Lu Ming would not let go of this opportunity. His figure flashed and he rushed out. With a few flashes he broke out of the encirclement of the dire beasts. Bing Qing and Lu Ming continued to rush out, increasing the pressure on the others. They had no choice but to give up on attacking and turn to defense. Only then did they stabilize their position. Lu Ming moved his body and rushed to the peak of the mountain. Seeing Lu Ming rush out, Bing Qing was overjoyed and called out, "Lu Ming, you must stop them from getting the Ice Jade Cold Heart. If you can get it, you'll be a friend of the Ice Soul clan." Lu Ming did not respond. He kept rushing to the peak of the mountain. His main goal was the Cold Moon Stone. Stopping the Dark Ice race was secondary. Seeing Lu Ming charging at them, the Dark Ice clan's people's faces darkened. "Kill him!" The Heaven's favorite of the Dark Ice race who was fighting with Bing Qing shouted. Immediately, two paragons of the Dark Ice race rushed toward Lu Ming at an alarming speed. They reached Lu Ming in no time and slashed at him with their cold sabers. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming waved his long spear and charged at the other party. Clang, clang. There were two consecutive explosions. Lu Ming felt a strong surge of energy and his figure retreated slightly. These two people are so powerful. Lu Ming was slightly shocked. Even if the two of them were not as good as Lu Xianxia when they joined forces, they would not be far from him. Kill! The two Dark Ice race members shouted and continued to charge toward Lu Ming, launching violent attacks. Ice chains. Lu Ming could not be bothered to fight with the other party. He immediately used the ice chain. Clang, clang. His opponent's saber struck the ice chains but was blocked by the ice chains. In the next moment, the two young men from the Dark Ice clan changed their expressions drastically because they felt a terrifying coldness coming from the ice chains. They had also cultivated extreme cold divine power and were naturally not afraid of the cold. But now this chill made them shiver. Moreover, a layer of ice immediately condensed on their sabers and quickly spread to their bodies. How is that possible? And Denbito. The two of them were shocked and they immediately exploded with divine power to block the chill. However, at this moment, Lu Ming controlled the ice chains with all his might and whipped them toward the two of them. The two of them tried their best to block, and although they managed to block a few moves, their bodies were slowly frozen and their movements became slower and slower. Kill! Lu Ming brandished his long spear and stabbed out twice in a row. The two Dark Ice clan's paragons were frozen. Even if they wanted to dodge, it was too late. They were pierced by Lu Ming's long spear and died on the spot. Lu Ming dashed past them and headed for the mountain peak. All right. Bing Qing was overjoyed. The young man from the Dark Ice race who was fighting with Bing Qing had an extremely ugly expression. The two Dark Ice race youths that Lu Ming had just killed were two of the top geniuses of the Dark Ice race. It was a great loss for them to be killed by Lu Ming. It's too late. Even if he rushed over now, he wouldn't be able to stop them. Shouted the sovereign of the Dark Ice clan. At this moment, the Dark Ice race's prodigy was almost at the top of the mountain. Lu Ming increased his speed, but he was still a step too slow. When he neared the top of the mountain, he saw that there was a huge ice platform on the top of the mountain. The ice platform was glowing and there was a fist-sized stone floating above it. The stone was snow-white like a beautiful jade. Ice Jade Heart. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It was very likely that this was the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Ah, I found the Ice Jade Cold Heart. The Ice Jade Cold Heart will belong to my clan. My Dark Ice clan will definitely rise and destroy the Ice Soul clan. We will become the overlord of the Qin Heaven's Starfield. The young man of the Dark Ice clan was overjoyed. Immediately, a few Dark Ice race youths pounced towards Bing Yuhan Exen. However, in order to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart, one must first step onto the ice platform. The ice platform was huge. It was round and had a diameter of 1,000 meters. A shocking scene happened. The moment the Dark Ice clan's paragons stepped onto the ice platform, their bodies suddenly froze. Then a layer of ice crystals appeared on their bodies and covered them in an instant. The Dark Ice clan's young men were frozen like statues. They didn't move, but they were still in shock. The remaining paragons of the Dark Ice race gasped and stopped in their tracks. Buzz. Lu Ming flashed a few times and appeared on the other side of the ice platform. He stopped and did not rush forward. That ice platform obviously contained a terrifying chill. As soon as people stepped on it, they would be frozen. Those few Dark Ice race youths were also considered experts. Two of them were even at the 4th stage True God realm and weren't any weaker than an Hai. However, they couldn't resist for more than a few seconds before being frozen. Chapter 2741 Let Me Try the Ice platform contained a terrifying chill. Even an expert who could control the divine power of the cold attribute could not withstand it. This made the Dark Ice Race and Lu Ming stop in their tracks. Why aren't you guys going up? Take away the icy jade heart? The Dark Ice Race's paragon who was fighting with Bing Qing roared. From their angle they could not see the ice platform and what was happening on it. There's a terrifying ice platform here in Kong. The two of them have already been frozen. They're probably dead. A young man from the Dark Ice Race answered. What? The young man from the Dark Ice Race who was fighting with Bing Qing was called Undercurrent. His expression changed. After exchanging a few blows with Bing Qing, he abandoned her and rushed towards the top of the mountain. Bing Qing also rushed to the top of the mountain. The moment the two of them reached the top of the mountain, they saw the ice platform and the scene on it. Their expressions also changed. You guys want to obtain the icy jade cold heart? Looks like I won't be able to grant you your wish. Bing Qing sneered. If we can't get it, you can't either, Undercurrent responded with a cold face. Is that so? Bing Qing laughed coldly and in a flash she rushed towards the ice platform. Lu Ming's expression changed but he did not stop her. Since Bing Qing had already seen the two Dark Ice Race members who were frozen and still dared to rush forward, she must have some confidence. Buzz. Bing Qing's figure was standing on the ice platform. However, the moment he stepped on the ice platform, a layer of ice crystals immediately appeared on his body, trying to freeze him. Holy ice armor! Bing Qing shouted. His body glowed and a suit of armor appeared. It was a snow-white armor that seemed to be made of ice. As soon as it appeared, it enveloped Bing Qing's entire body, blocking the terrifying chill of the ice platform. Holy ice armor, the treasure of the Ice Soul clan. Undercurrent roared, his face was very gloomy. Then his body moved and also rushed to the ice platform. The next moment his body also landed on the ice platform. The moment he landed on the ice platform, Undercurrent's body was also covered in a layer of ice crystals. Ice armor, let's go. Undercurrent shouted in a low voice. A set of battle clothes appeared on his body, covering him and blocking the invasion of the cold. The Dark Ice Clan and the Ice Soul Clan had come prepared. They had brought precious treasures that were now in the hands of Undercurrent and Bing Qing. Both of them blocked the cold air outside. They looked at each other coldly and then stepped forward, walking towards the center of the ice platform. Thump, thump, thump. The two of them felt as if they were carrying a mountain on their backs. Their steps were heavy as they walked forward. With every step they took, the ice platform would emit a violent roar. The people from the Dark Ice Clan and Lu Ming watched with grave expressions. It was strange that none of the wild beasts charged up to attack them at the peak of the mountain. It was very peaceful. As for Lu Xianxia and the rest, they were gathered together and defending against the desolate beasts, so there were not many casualties. On the ice platform, Bing Qing and Undercurrent's speed became slower and slower. A layer of ice crystals appeared on their battle armors and battle clothes. It was obvious that the closer they got to the center of the ice platform, the colder it became. Even their armors couldn't withstand it. However, the two of them did not give up and continued to move forward. However, it took a few minutes before they could take a step forward. In the end, the two of them could barely move. The layer of ice on their battle suits and armors grew thicker and thicker. Suddenly, two cracks appeared on both Bing Qing's armor and Undercurrent's armor. Their battle armors and clothes had been damaged by the cold. The expressions of the two men changed drastically. Although they were extremely unwilling, they didn't dare to move forward anymore. They had a feeling that if they moved forward, their battle armors and armors would be shattered and they would both fall on the ice platform. The two of them took a step back and retreated out of the ice platform. Then they circulated their divine power to shake off the ice on their bodies. Only then did they let out a long breath. The trip to the ice platform just now was like a great battle. The two of them had used up a lot of their divine power. They immediately took out a pile of divine crystals and started to recover. After a while, the two of them recovered a little. I didn't expect this ice platform to be so terrifying. It's impossible to obtain the ice jade chilling heart. Bing Qing let out a long sigh, her face was filled with unwillingness. On the other side, Undercurrent and the other members of the Dark Ice Clan were also unwilling. The icy jade cold heart was right in front of them, but they couldn't get it. They were also unwilling. It seems like the Ice Soul clan will have to waste your time trying to get the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Undercurrent looked at Bing Qing and mocked. Even if my Ice Soul clan doesn't have the Ice Jade Cold Heart, we are still one of the strongest clans in the Qin Heaven Starfield. On the other hand, your Dark Ice clan can only hide in the dark and struggle on your last breath. Bing Qing sneered. This made Undercurrent's face turn extremely ugly. Unfortunately, this was the truth. Although the Dark Ice clan had produced some talents in recent years, their overall strength was far inferior to the Ice Soul clans. They could not fight the Ice Soul clan at all and could only hide in the dark and wait for an opportunity to strike. Ninth young lord, perhaps I can give it a try. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly sent a voice transmission to Bing Qing. You want to try? Bing Qing was shocked, but she immediately thought of the strange chain that Lu Ming had. The temperature of Lu Ming's ice chain was shockingly low. Even he felt that it was terrifying and extremely strange. Perhaps I can let him try. A thought flashed through Bing Qing's mind and she said, the Ice Jade Heart is frighteningly cold and storage rings can't store it at all. I'll freeze and break the ring, so it needs a special tool to store it. A jade box appeared in Bing Qing's hand. The jade box was red in color and emitted a scorching aura. On top of that, there were many mysterious runes engraved on the jade box. Take this jade box with you. If you can really obtain the heart of the icy jade, you can place it in this jade box to isolate the icy chi of the heart of the icy jade. Bing Qing said. All right. Lu Ming nodded. He could not help but think that the ice jade cold heart could freeze the storage ring. It was quite similar to the ball of cold liquid. Lu Ming took the jade box and strode towards the ice platform. What does that kid want to do? Could it be that he wants to ascend the ice platform? It's ridiculous. Even the Undercurrent and the Ice Soul clan can't reach the top. He must be dreaming if he thinks he can. I guess the Ice Soul clan is unwilling to give up because they can't get the Ice Jade Cold Heart. They might as well give it a try. Unfortunately, this kid is going to lose his life. Some people from the Dark Ice race could not help but sneer when they saw Lu Ming walking toward the ice platform. They did not believe that Lu Ming could obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Undercurrent's eyes flickered, but he did not stop Lu Ming. He also felt that it was impossible for Lu Ming to get the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. He had brought the Dark Ice clan's precious treasure, the ice armor, to protect himself, but he could not withstand the coldness of the ice platform. How could Lu Ming? Under everyone's gaze, Lu Ming took a few steps and landed on the ice platform. Chapter 2742 Success. After Lu Ming landed on the ice platform, he immediately felt a bone-piercing chill enveloping his entire body. The strength of the chill made Lu Ming apprehensive. Lu Ming immediately circulated the divine cold force to resist, and the situation immediately improved. However, a layer of ice crystals still appeared on his body and slowly covered his entire body. It turns out that this kid has cultivated the ultimate cold divine power. But even with the ultimate cold divine power, he can't resist the coldness of the ice platform at all. Undercurrent said coldly. The Shin power that he cultivated was also not weak. It was not any weaker than the extreme cold Shin power, but it still could not stop the erosion of the coldness of the ice platform. Ice chains. With a single thought from Lu Ming, ice chains appeared. Lu Ming did not use the ice chain that had been refined with the icy liquid. Instead, he used the other 8 ice chains. He mainly wanted to test how effective the other 8 ice chains were in resisting the cold. The 8 ice chains danced in the air and gathered into a ball surrounding Lu Ming. So it's a secret technique of the cold attribute. Undercurrent and the other Dark Ice clan's Heaven's Pride experts were startled. You're dreaming if you think you can block the coldness of this ice platform with just a cold attribute secret technique. Undercurrent disdainfully said. As expected, as soon as Undercurrent's voice fell, the 8 ice chains that were shrouding Lu Ming were frozen immediately. They were covered with a thick layer of ice and made cracking sounds. Then the 8 ice chains crumbled at the same time, turning into pieces and disappearing. I knew it. He can't block the coldness of the ice platform at all. He's really overestimating himself. Undercurrent mocked. Lu Ming ignored the sound of the undercurrent. He had expected that the 8 chains would not be able to withstand the coldness of the ice platform. In the end, he could only rely on the chain that had melted the icy liquid. With a single thought, the chain flew out and wrapped around Lu Ming. It's this move again. This kid still hasn't given up. Laughable. It has already been proven useless just now, but you still continue to use it. What an idiot. The Dark Ice Race youths mocked. Lu Ming was on the Ice Soul Clan's side. Mocking Lu Ming was equivalent to mocking the Ice Soul Clan. They felt very good. However, in the next moment their voices stopped abruptly. Because this time it was completely different from before. This time there was no layer of ice on the chain around Lu Ming. The chain was moving slowly, but it did not show any signs of being frozen. What's going on? The Dark Ice Clan's young men were bewildered. Thump, thump, boom. Then Lu Ming took a step forward. He was very fast and took more than 10 steps in a row. As expected, this ice chain can block the cold from the outside world. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with joy. The ice chains wrapped around him, completely blocking the coldness from the outside world. He could not feel the slightest bit of coldness. Not a single bit of coldness seeped in. Thump. Boom. Lu Ming continued to take steps, one step at a time without any pause. Soon he had taken a few hundred steps. The distance he had covered was further than the distance he had covered with the ice and undercurrent. What's going on? How is that possible? How is this possible? Why is that kid not afraid of the cold on the ice platform? It's just a secret technique. How can it block the cold from the ice platform? The Dark Ice Clan's people's eyes were wide open. They couldn't believe it. Especially Undercurrent, his heart was filled with anger. Just now he was still mocking Lu Ming, saying that Lu Ming was overestimating his ability. However, Lu Ming had already gone further than him. This was a slap in the face. Bing Qing's eyes lit up as well. Lu Ming's ability to walk so far was beyond his expectations. He was filled with a glimmer of hope that Lu Ming could obtain the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. Lu Ming's footsteps did not stop. He walked forward step by step. After a while, Lu Ming finally arrived at the center of the ice platform. The Ice Jade Cold Heart was right above his head. Buzz. Lu Ming waved his hand and the ice chain flew out, then wrapped around the Ice Jade Cold Heart. As soon as the Ice Jade Cold Heart was entangled, Lu Ming felt a shocking chill through the ice chain. Fortunately, the ice chain had refined the ball of icy liquid. Otherwise, it would not have been able to withstand the chill. But now it was blocked by Lu Ming. Come in. Lu Ming took out the crimson jade box and controlled the ice chain. With a pull, the Ice Jade Cold Heart was slowly pulled and flew toward the jade box. It. How is that possible? The Dark Ice Clan's warriors shouted, their eyes red with envy. Ha ha ha. Bing Qing let out a long laugh. He had never expected that inviting Lu Ming and the rest would be of such great use. The reason why the Ice Soul Clan had invited the elites of the Qin Heavenly 13 clans was mainly to help them clear out the desolate beasts or deal with other dangers. As for obtaining the Ice Jade Frozen Heart, it would still depend on the elites of the Ice Soul Clan. They did not expect that Lu Ming would be able to get the Ice Jade Cold Heart, even though the Ice Soul Clan could not. Playing. In the end, the Ice Jade Cold Heart entered the Crimson Jade Box successfully. Lu Ming immediately closed the Jade Box. The runes on the Jade Box glowed and formed an array, sealing the Ice Jade Cold Heart inside. The coldness on the Ice Jade Cold Heart disappeared immediately and the coldness on the ice platform weakened greatly. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment the entire ice platform started to shake violently. Boom. In the end, the entire ice platform exploded into pieces, sending debris flying everywhere. The moment the ice platform exploded, Lu Ming saw rocks the size of human heads flying out from the bottom of the ice platform. These stones were round and emitted a faint moonlight like a bright moon. Cold Moon Stone. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This was exactly the same as the legendary Cold Moon Stone. There were actually Cold Moon Stones under the ice platform. Lu Ming swept his gaze across and found 6 of them. Buzz. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he pounced toward the Cold Moon Stones. Kill that brat and take the Icy Jade Chilling Heart. Go. Undercurrent shouted. His figure burst out and rushed toward Lu Ming. At the same time, the other members of the Dark Ice Clan also rushed toward Lu Ming. Don't even think about it. Bing Qing had been keeping an eye on Undercurrent and the others for a long time. As soon as the Undercurrent rushed out, Bing Qing's figure also rushed out and rushed towards the Undercurrent. A sword light filled with coldness slashed towards the Undercurrent. The two of them began to fight intensely. Lu Ming's figure flashed and he grabbed a Cold Moon Stone. The Cold Moon Stone was different from the Ice Jade Cold Heart. It was warm to the touch and one could not feel any bone-piercing coldness. After grabbing it, Lu Ming kept it in his storage ring and then grabbed the other cold moonstones. In an instant, 3 cold moonstones had already entered Lu Ming's storage ring. At this moment, the Dark Ice clan had arrived. Brat, hand over the icy jade cold heart. Kill. More than a dozen Dark Ice clansmen attacked at the same time, launching a storm of attacks on Lu Ming. Chapter 2743 6 Cold Moonstones. More than a dozen Dark Ice clan experts attacked at the same time. All kinds of attacks enveloped Lu Ming with shocking power. Get lost. Lu Ming shouted. The ice chains swept out to block the attacks while he himself pounced on the next cold moonstone. Plang, plang, plang. The attacks of the Dark Ice race's paragons all hit the ice chains and were all blocked. The terrifying coldness of the ice chains spread toward them. The expressions of the Dark Ice clan's heaven's favorites changed drastically and they retreated. A layer of frost appeared on their bodies and they were so cold that they were trembling. In fact, a few of the weaker ones were frozen into popsicles and exploded with a bang, dying on the spot. More than a dozen Dark Ice race youths were all shocked. For a moment they didn't dare to move forward. However, Lu Ming could not be bothered. His mind was completely focused on the cold moonstone. His body flashed and he kept the last 3 cold moonstones. Lu Ming was overjoyed to have all 6 cold moonstones. This trip was worth it. Not only had he obtained 6 cold moonstones, but he had also refined the ball of icy cold liquid. Lu Ming had a feeling that the ball of icy cold liquid was not to be underestimated. Its value was definitely above the 6 cold moonstones. 9th young lord, the ice jade cold heart is in your hands. Let's go. Lu Ming called out to Bing Qing. You want to leave? Hand over the icy jade frozen heart or else none of you will be able to leave. Undercurrent roared, his face filled with malevolence as he desperately attacked Bing Qing. For a moment, Bing Qing found it difficult to escape. I'm afraid you're not good enough to keep us here. Lu Ming sneered. He controlled the ice chain and flew it towards the undercurrent, sweeping it. Get lost, attack. Undercurrent shouted. He slashed his saber at the ice chains. Plang, plang. After a few consecutive collisions, although the ice chain was swept away by undercurrent, the terrible chill on it spread towards undercurrent, making his body slightly stiff. His strength was already on par with Bing Qing's, and now that his body was frozen, Bing Qing seized the opportunity to leave a sword wound on his body. The undercurrent's expression changed drastically and he retreated continuously. However, Lu Ming controlled the ice chains again and swept them toward the undercurrent. Lu Ming's current cultivation was still a little weak. He could not exert much of the power of the ice shackles. He could not fully exert the power of the ball of icy liquid either. If his cultivation could reach the true god level, he would definitely have no problem defeating undercurrent. However, even now, the chill of the ice chains would still have a great impact on the undercurrent, causing his body to stiffen and his movements to become slower and slower. If Lu Ming was alone, the undercurrent could have used his violent attacks to defeat him. However, he still had another opponent. Bing Qing and Lu Ming cooperated and seized the opportunity to attack fiercely. Undercurrent could not withstand it and was few times in a row. Although his vital parts were avoided, he was still seriously injured and retreated while vomiting blood. It's all this brat's fault. The undercurrent swept toward Lu Ming with a venomous look. Then it roared unwillingly, retreat. After saying that, undercurrent turned around and ran. The other members of the Dark Ice clan also followed the undercurrent and ran toward the other side. Bing Qing's eyes flickered a few times but she did not pursue. The most important goal of this trip was the ice jade cold heart. Moreover, with undercurrent's strength, if he wanted to escape, even if he chased after him, he wouldn't be able to stop him. 9th young lord, here you go, the icy jade heart. Lu Ming took out the jade box and set it to Bing Qing. Although he was also very interested in the icy jade cold heart, he knew that this treasure was not something he could get his hands on. If he did not return the icy jade cold heart, he would not be able to leave this place. The Ice Soul clan would not let him go. It was not worth it to offend a large clan like the Ice Soul clan for a treasure. If he returned the ice jade cold heart, he would gain the friendship of the Ice Soul clan, which would be of great use to Lu Ming. Lu Ming, thank you. Thank you. From now on, you're a friend of the Ice Soul clan. Bing Qing was ecstatic as she received the jade box and carefully put it away with a smile on her face. Let's go back then, Lu Ming said. All right, let's go. Bing Qing nodded and rushed down the mountain with Lu Ming towards Lu Shangkai and the rest. With the addition of Lu Ming and Bing Qing, their strength had increased greatly. They quickly carved out a UI path and rushed down the mountain, then headed in the direction they had come from. They had not run far when a shocking roar came from behind them. It was the roar of a dragon. From a distance, they could see an ice dragon rising into the sky, roaring continuously and filled with a shocking murderous aura. The ice dragon has awakened? How is that possible? Someone exclaimed, his face pale. Didn't they say that the ice dragon would need to sleep for at least half a month? It's the Dark Ice clan. Those lunatics run. Bing Qing shouted. And NBSP, it wasn't hard to guess that it was definitely the Dark Ice race's doing. The Dark Ice race must have attacked the ice dragons, which was why they woke them up. They didn't want Bing Qing and the others to take the ice jade cold heart. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Everyone flew at full speed, pushing their speed to the limit. They were like bolts of lightning streaking across the sky. Behind them, the ice dragon roared continuously and circled in the sky. Then it looked in the direction of Lu Ming and the others. It twisted its body and chased after them. Not good, finished. Many people's expressions changed drastically. That ice dragon was a celestial deity realm existence. Could smack them to death with one palm. The ice dragon was poisoned not long ago. It just woke up, so its strength is definitely not at its peak. Bing Qing said, but everyone's expression didn't improve at all. The ice dragon was a heavenly god. Even if it wasn't at its peak, it wasn't something they could fight against. However, the ice dragon was indeed not in its peak state. Speed was not as fast as they had imagined. Although the distance between them was closing, it did not catch up with them immediately. The two sides, one chasing and one escaping, quickly flew towards their destination. However, although the ice dragon didn't catch up with them immediately, the distance between the two sides was slowly closing. A few days later, the distance between the two sides was less than 10,000 miles. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before they were caught. Ninth young master, you guys go first. We'll go and delay the ice dragon. A young man from the Ice Soul clan shouted. Count me in. I'll go too. A few of the Ice Soul clan's young men spoke with determination in their eyes. You guys, there was a hint of pain in Bing Qing's eyes. If the young men from the Ice Soul clan tried to delay the ice dragon, they would definitely die. Ninth young lord, the Ice Jade's heart is important. The rise of the Ice Soul clan is important. It's nothing to sacrifice our lives. A young man from the Ice Soul clan shouted. Alright, you can go. From now on, your family is my family. Bing Qing said. Thank you, ninth young master. Suddenly, a total of 11 young men from the Ice Soul clan stopped and charged at the ice dragon. Chapter 2744. Not a match at all. After Lu Ming and the rest blocked the attacks from all directions, a large group of figures appeared in a flash and surrounded them. In front of them was a group of young men with red skin, each of them exuding a scorching aura. The Red Flame Tribe. Many people's faces became serious. It was indeed the Red Flame Tribe, and there were a lot of them. There were actually 70 or 80 of them. Only those who were below 10,000 years old could enter. The number of people from the Red Flame Tribe had reached 70 to 80, which showed how powerful they were. Behind Lu Ming and the rest were not the Scarlet Flame Tribe. However, there were more than 70 of them. These people were from different races. The Indestructible Sword Sect and the Boundless Holy Land. A young man from the Unique Demon Academy exclaimed. The hearts of the others also sank. They could all tell that these young people were from different races. Just like them, they were from the other 7 sects and powers of the Qin Heaven 13 clans. In addition, the geniuses of the Indestructible Sword Sect and the Boundless Holy Land had also come. Everyone's heart sank. The difference in power between the two sides was too great. They had fought several fierce battles in the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land and lost some of their combat forces. Originally, they had less than 100 people. Now, after losing some, they were only left with about 60 people. On the other hand, the total number of people on the other side was about 150, more than twice their number. Bing Qing, hand over all your storage rings and I'll let you go. A burly Heaven's favorite of the Red Flame race sneered. His body was like a burning piece of iron, emitting wisps of divine fire. His power was astonishing. Yensen, if you have the ability, then come and take it yourself. Bing Qing said coldly as the coldness around her became stronger and stronger. The Ice Soul clan had obtained the Ice Jade Cold Heart after so many years. How could he give it away? If you don't want to hand it over, then did you really obtain the Icy Jade Chilling Heart? Today none of you will leave. The brawny young man of the Red Flame tribe, Xianxia, waved his hand and gave the order. Kill! Kill! The paragons of the Scarlet Flame race, the Immortal Sword sect and the other sects shouted. Their auras surged as they charged toward Lu Ming and the others. Let's gather together and charge forward. As long as we can get out of this path, we'll be saved. Kill! Bing Qing roared and took the lead, charging towards the Red Flame tribe. Beams of sword chi bloomed from Bing Qing's hands. They were extremely cold and everywhere they pass, said layers of frost appeared. Small tricks transform. Xianxia shouted as he charged towards Bing Qing. His body was covered in flames and the temperature of the air rose rapidly. Boom, boom, boom. He kept swinging his fists, sending lava-like fist shadows towards Bing Qing. The air was filled with sizzling sounds and violent rumbles. Circles of hot and cold energy spread out. The two of them fought. Xianxia's combat strength was also extremely terrifying and he was tied with Bing Qing. At the same time, Lu Ming and the rest were also under terrifying attacks. Ah! Ah! A few screams were heard. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. As soon as they exchanged blows, Lu Ming's side suffered heavy injuries and a few of them were killed. Lu Ming and the rest's charging formation was also stopped. Buzz! The sound of a sword resounded through the sky. A young man in black with a cold expression and terrifying combat strength slashed out with his sword, killing a genius of the Ice Soul clan. This was a heaven's favorite from the indestructible sword sect. His strength was slightly stronger than Lu Shankai's. On the other side, a white-robed young man was extremely refined. However, his combat strength was also extremely terrifying. In a single exchange he had also killed one person. This person was from the boundless Holy Land. The most shocking thing was that there were a few paragons in the Scarlet Flame tribe who were not weaker than Lu Xiankai. Some of them were even stronger than Lu Xiankai. Under the leadership of these people, Lu Ming's side was forced to retreat and people were killed one after another. Boom! An expert from the Red Flame tribe threw a punch and turned a disciple from the Kong Xian sect into ashes. Kong Xian sect had sent a total of 10 heaven's favorites. They had not died before but now they were the first to die. This can't go on. Well, split up and leave in groups. Follow me, Yao said. Lu Ming roared. Given the current situation, Lu Ming could no longer care about the Ice Soul clan. He led the people from the Kong Xian sect and charged wildly to the side. Lu Ming was at the forefront. He burst out with all his strength and kept stabbing with his long spear. 2 Scarlet Flame tribe youths were assassinated by Lu Ming in a row. The other Scarlet Flame tribe youths coughed up blood and retreated. Brat, you're looking for death. A young expert of the Scarlet Flame tribe had his eyes on Lu Ming and was charging toward him. He was wearing a pair of crimson gloves. He threw a few consecutive punches and the scorching fist force crushed toward Lu Ming. Before the fist force arrived, everyone felt as if their bodies were burning. The long spear in Lu Ming's hand swept out continuously and collided with the person. However, the result was that Lu Ming was forced to retreat a few steps. What powerful battle prowess! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The Scarlet Flame tribe's combat strength was not any weaker than Lu Xiankai's. Lu Ming was at a disadvantage in a head-on collision. Brat, you dare to kill the people of my Red Flame race? Die! The young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe said ferociously and continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming gave it his all to fight against the other party. And Hai and the rest formed a circle to block the attacks from all directions. However, the situation was still precarious. Boom, boom, boom. Lu Ming and the young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe exchanged more than 10 moves in an instant. In the end, Lu Ming kept retreating and was completely suppressed. Brat turned to ashes. The young man from the Red Flame tribe roared and punched madly. Is that so? Lu Ming said coldly. Then an ice chain flew out of his body and wrapped around the other party. Just a mere chain melted. The young man from the Red Flame tribe said coldly. He did not care about the ice chains at all. He threw a punch and a hot flame shot toward the ice chains trying to melt them. However, the ice chain was completely fine and said through. This The young man from the Red Flame tribe was shocked. He didn't expect that his fist force would have no effect on the ice chain. While he was stunned, the ice chain had already wrapped around him and quickly tightened. Transform, die. The young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe shouted and exploded. His body was like a furnace. The temperature was so high that it was about to melt the ice chains. However, the ice chain was not affected at all. It quickly tightened. The terrifying coldness extinguished the flames of the young man from the Red Flame tribe. Then a layer of ice covered the young man. Impossible, no, no. The young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe shouted in horror. He never dreamed that Lu Ming could control such a terrifying ice that he could even freeze his flames. Chapter 2745 Desperate Breakthrough. The young man from the Red Flame tribe was terrified. He felt his burning blood begin to freeze. His body was stiff and he could not move. Save me! The young man from the Red Flame tribe shouted in fear. Kill! Lu Ming thrust his spear forward. The spear's gleam pierced through and killed the genius of the Scarlet Flame tribe. A heaven's favorite who was not weaker than Lu Xianxia had fallen just like that. Brat, you're looking for death. And it. Immediately there were roars of anger. Many of the Scarlet Flame clan's prodigies looked at Lu Ming with rage. The young man from the Red Flame tribe had an extraordinary status in the Red Flame tribe. He was extremely talented. However, he had fallen at the hands of Lu Ming. The members of the Red Flame tribe were filled with murderous intent. Let's go, go. Lu Ming shouted. He waved the ice chains continuously and they flew toward the Scarlet Flame tribe youths who were besieging and Hai and the others. The Scarlet Flame tribe youths were shocked and dodged. And Hai and the rest also broke free and joined Lu Ming, charging forward together. Kill him. That brat must die. The others can surround him and not kill him. Kill that brat first. Yen Xin, who was fighting with Bing Qing, shouted. Buzz. And NBSP whoosh. One by one the youths of the Scarlet Flame tribe charged at Lu Ming. Some of them were moving at an astonishing speed. Boom. In front of Lu Ming, there was a 3-meter-tall young man from the Red Flame tribe. His fist was as heavy as a mountain and it was aimed at Lu Ming. So strong. Lu Ming was shocked and quickly waved his spear to block it. Plang. His opponent's punch landed on the long spear, causing it to shake violently. Lu Ming felt an overwhelming pressure pressing down on him. Lu Ming's figure retreated rapidly, and he felt as if his arm was about to split open. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Strong. This young man from the Scarlet Flame clan, who was more than 3 meters tall, was astonishingly strong. Lu Ming felt that his combat strength was not weaker than Bing Qing's. Within the Scarlet Flame clan, there were many heaven's favorites and experts. No wonder they were the strongest clan in the Qingtian galaxy. Without a doubt they were also the strongest force. Brat, I'm going to grind your bones and scatter your ashes. Kill them all. Going to kill them all. The Red Flame tribe youth, who was more than 3 meters tall, roared and kept punching Lu Ming with both fists. At the same time the other members of the Scarlet Flame tribe had also arrived. They charged toward Lu Ming and Hai and the others. Bang. Bang. In the blink of an eye, 2 young men from the Xian sect were blown up in the air and turned into ashes in the scorching heat. We're finished, we're finished. A young man from the Xian sect shouted, revealing a look of despair. Faced with such a situation they would definitely die today. At this moment Lu Ming was also facing immense pressure. The 3-meter-tall young man was not the only powerful Red Flame tribe member. There were a few more behind him. Although they were not as strong as the former, they were still very terrifying. They attacked Lu Ming together, trying to kill him. Lu Ming could only control the ice chain to bind the other party. However, the other party knew the power of the ice shackles. Naturally, they would not let Lu Ming have his way. As soon as the ice shackles were out, they retreated quickly and avoided them. Only the young man from the Red Flame tribe, who was more than 3 meters tall, was fearless. His aura was wild and his body was covered in blazing divine fire. He kept punching at the ice chains. Boom. Boom. The burning fist force collided with the ice chain, but it did not extinguish. Instead it sent the ice chain flying back. The other party was too powerful and Lu Ming's cultivation was too low. The power of the ice chain was limited after all, and it was impossible for him to cross a long distance to freeze his opponent. The Scarlet Flame tribe youth, who was more than 3 meters tall, had the ability to block it. He'll block this strange chain. They'll go kill him. The young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe, who was more than 3 meters tall, roared and launched an attack, targeting the ice chains. The other experts from the Scarlet Flame tribe, on the other hand, attacked Lu Ming. All of a sudden, Lu Ming's situation became precarious. 2 more people from the Xian sect had died. At this moment there were only 5 people left from the Xian sect, including Lu Ming. The other 4 people, including An Hai and the long-faced young man, were all seriously injured. Their faces were filled with despair. At this moment the Ice Soul clan and several other sects had suffered heavy losses. People were dying in battle. The number of people on their side was decreasing. What should we do? What should we do? Lu Ming's mind was spinning rapidly, trying to think of a way to escape. However, the difference in strength between the 2 parties was too great. Even if Lu Ming wanted to escape alone, it would be difficult. Kid, we can only give it our all now. At this moment the voice of the Quant 1 Thai formula rang in Lu Ming's sea of consciousness. Take a gamble? How do we fight? Lu Ming quickly asked. Do you still remember the Dark Dragon blood jade I absorbed in the Dark Dragon secret realm? The Quant 1 Thai formula said. The Dark Dragon blood jade, could it be that you've already refined the Dark Dragon blood jade's energy? Lu Ming said hurriedly. That's right. After all these years, I've refined all the energy of the Dark Dragon blood jade. I can pass. To you now. This energy is very strong. Even if you cultivate 5 divine flames, it'll be enough for you to reach the true God realm in a short time. That's right. It's extremely dangerous to try to break through during a great battle. If you're not careful, you might go into chi deviation and die from an explosion. The Quant 1 Thai formula said. We'll definitely try. Please transfer your energy to me. Lu Ming said hurriedly. It wasn't like he hadn't tried to break through during a great battle before. He had plenty of experience. Alright, then get ready. Let's begin. As soon as the measure character was spoken, Lu Ming felt that the measure character in his sea of consciousness was shining. Then a huge wave of energy gushed out from the measure character and surged into Lu Ming's body. This energy was extremely pure and could be converted into divine power in an instant. Refine, refine. Lu Ming circulated the universe 1000 Dao mantra frantically and began to refine it. This energy was quickly transformed into Lu Ming's divine power. The divine fire in Lu Ming's dantian grew stronger and stronger. In an instant, Lu Ming's cultivation base had reached the peak of the 8th level Void God realm. Then with a boom his body seemed to explode and his aura suddenly soared. 9th level Void God realm. In just a breath's time, Lu Ming's cultivation had advanced from 8th level Void God realm to 9th level Void God realm. You've broken through? How is that possible? The others were shocked. They did not expect Lu Ming to have a breakthrough in his cultivation in such a situation. Even if I break through, I'll still die. The more than 3-meter-tall young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe roared and charged at Lu Ming again. The other talents of the Scarlet Flame tribe also charged at Lu Ming. There were a total of 9 experts who were charging at Lu Ming. Kill. Lu Ming's fighting spirit soared. He swept his long spear out continuously, clashing with his opponent. However, even though Lu Ming's cultivation base had broken through to 9th tier Void God level, he was still not a match for so many Scarlet Flame clan's prodigies in a head-on collision. He was still at a disadvantage. Only by breaking through to the true God realm could he kill his way out. Breaking through to real G. Oh, he charged, continued charging. Lu Ming roared in his heart and continued to refine the energy. His cultivation was approaching the peak of virtual G. Oh, D level, but it was not so easy to break through to true G. Oh, D level. The outer sect of the Xian sect had a rule that if an outer sect disciple could reach the true G. Oh, D realm within 1,000,000 years, they could become an inner sect disciple. However, there were still many people who couldn't reach the true G. Oh, D realm within 1,000,000 years. From this, one could see the difficulty of reaching the true G. Oh, D realm. Even with the energy from the Quant 1 Thai formula, it was not realistic for Lu Ming to break through to true G. Oh, D level immediately. Come. I'll borrow your power to break through to the true G. Oh, D realm. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with madness. His fighting spirit seemed to be burning. The spear radiance and the ice chains fought against the 9 top young heavens favorites of the Scarlet Flame tribe. Although Lu Ming was at a complete disadvantage and was constantly injured, coughing out blood, he was actually able to withstand the attacks. On the other side, the young men from the unique Devil Academy were fighting with the people from the Immortal Sword Sect under the leadership of Lu Xianxia. Lu Xianxia was fighting with the black-clothed young man. "Brother Xian, why are you so ruthless?" Lu Xianxia sent a message to the young man in black. As the paragons of the three overlord sects, they knew each other. "We've taken on different missions, so we naturally have to do our part." The black-robed young man coldly replied. "How about this, Brother Xian? You'll give up on this mission. As long as you show mercy, I can help you kill that brat." Lu Xianxia sent a voice transmission to the teenager in black. He then looked at Lu Ming with a murderous gaze. Lu Ming had actually broken through at the critical moment. This made Lu Xianxia even more fearful of Lu Ming. He could not wait to kill Lu Ming immediately because Lu Ming's growth rate shocked him. "You seem to really want to kill that brat," the black-clothed youth said with interest. "That's right. Let me tell you, that brat is from the Xian sect. His combat strength is extremely terrifying. As you can see, he's only at the empty D realm, but he already has such combat strength. If he grows up, I'm afraid that even the geniuses of the three overlords won't be his match." "I'm not trying to scare you," Lu Xianxia said. The eyes of the black-robed young man from the indestructible sword sect also flashed. Lu Ming's cultivation level was at virtual G. Oh, the level, so how could he not see it? To be honest, he was extremely shocked. He had never seen a virtual G. Oh, D with such combat strength. The Xian sect was already the top sect of the top 10 sections. The appearance of such a genius was indeed a huge threat to the three overlord forces. "What's your plan?" The black-clothed youth's eyes flickered as he said. "We'll pretend to fight. While fighting, we'll shift the battle to that kid. That kid's attention has always been on the Red Flame tribe and you guys. You would never have thought that I would take action at this moment. So, as long as I suddenly attack, I can definitely kill this kid," Lu Xianxia said coldly. "Lu Xianxia, you're despicable." The black-clothed youth sneered. Lu Xianxia's expression was ugly. However, he hated Lu Ming to the core. Even if he was ridiculed, he would kill Lu Ming. "All right, I promise you," the young man in black said. He then sent a voice transmission to the people of the indestructible sword sect. At the same time, Lu Xianxia also instructed the people of the unique demon academy. Both parties pretended to fight and slowly approached Lu Ming. Very soon they were close to Lu Ming. At this moment, Lu Ming's cultivation base had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Void G. Oh, D realm, and he was about to break through to the true G. Oh, D realm. However, true G. Oh, D level was indeed not that easy. Lu Ming had tried to break through a few times in a row but to no avail. Just little more. Lu Ming felt that he was still lacking something and it was difficult to break through the bottleneck. If other people knew that he was trying to break through to the true G. Oh, D realm and that he was fighting while trying to break through, they would probably laugh their teeth off. It should be known that when other people tried to break through to the true G. Oh, D realm, they first had to cultivate to the peak of the 9th level of the Void G. Oh, D realm, then prepare some natural treasures. After making all the preparations, they would slowly succeed. Moreover, the success rate wasn't high. No one could fight while trying to break through to the next realm. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming exchanged a few blows with the Scarlet Flame tribe. His body shook violently and he could not help but retreat. Blood kept flowing out of his mouth. Now is the time. At that moment, Lu Xianxia's eyes lit up. The direction in which Lu Ming was retreating happened to be in his direction. This was a good opportunity that was hard to come by. Lu Xianxia no longer hesitated and attacked on the spot. Boom. The runes all over his body glowed. A huge black seal appeared in his hands and he smashed it toward Lu Ming. "Be careful," the Quant 1 Tai formula quickly reminded him. Lu Ming was also shocked. To be honest, he really didn't expect Lu Xianxia to attack him at this time. His attention was completely focused on the Scarlet Flame tribe, the Immortal Sword sect and the Boundless Holy Land. At this critical moment of life and death, he thought that Lu Xianxia would try to save his life. He did not expect Lu Xianxia to suddenly attack him. It was too late for him to dodge. Lu Ming could only use the 9-stage crimson gold armor at full force to resist. Boom. Lu Xianxia's big black seal landed heavily on Lu Ming's body, producing a loud boom. The 9-layer crimson gold armor on Lu Ming's body shook violently and then exploded. Lu Ming's body was like a cannonball, crashing toward a huge meteorite and shattering it. Even the people of the Red Flame tribe were stunned. Lu Xianxia, wasn't he on Lu Ming's side? Why did he suddenly attack Lu Ming? However, they were only stunned for a moment. 2 Scarlet Flame tribe experts rushed toward the meteorite that Lu Ming had smashed, wanting to kill him completely. And NBSP, but at this moment, an astonishing energy exploded from the asteroid. This aura was extremely terrifying. It formed an extremely powerful pressure that made everyone feel as if a mountain was pressing down on them. Buzz. A ray of spear light as big as a mountain swept out and swept towards the 2 Red Flame tribe experts. Bang. Bang. The 2 experts of the Red Flame tribe didn't even have time to react before they were blown up by the spear radiance. How is that possible? The others were shocked. Although the 2 Red Flame tribe experts were not as powerful as Lu Xianxia, they were not too far apart. Yet they were killed in an instant. Boom. The meteorite rumbled and a figure rushed out. It was Lu Ming. At this moment, divine energy was boiling on Lu Ming's body, burning like a flame. Waves of powerful pressure were constantly emitted. True Ji. Oh, this was the pressure of a true Ji. Oh, he's broken through. This kid has broken through again. Someone shouted in disbelief. Heavens, what's going on? Everyone could not believe their eyes. Didn't Lu Ming just break through? Why did he break through again? One breakthrough was still acceptable. It was possible that Lu Ming's original cultivation was at the peak and it was normal for him to break through. However, how was it possible for him to break through continuously from virtual G? Oh. D-level to true G. Oh. D-level. Chapter 2747, Killing Lu Xianxia. This. Lu Xianxia's eyes widened. He thought he was dreaming. Not only did he fail to kill Lu Ming with a single blow, but Lu Ming had also broken through. He felt that his mind was in a daze. Lu Xianxia. Lu Ming's cold gaze swept toward Lu Xianxia. He did not even bother to conceal his cold killing intent, causing Lu Xianxia to shiver. Lu Xianxia, I have to thank you. If not for your attack just now, I wouldn't have broken through, he. Lu Ming sneered. He wasn't lying. The situation just now was indeed like that. On the contrary, Lu Xianxia's attack had become a boost to Lu Ming, allowing his cultivation base to break through to the true G.O. level in one go. You. Upon hearing Lu Ming's words, Lu Xianxia almost spat out a mouthful of blood out of anger. Not only did he fail to kill Lu Ming with one strike, but he even became Lu Ming's assistant, helping him to break through his cultivation level. He wished he could give himself a few tight slaps. To repay you, I will personally send you on your way. Lu Ming said coldly. So what if you've broken through? Kill. The young man from the Scarlet Flame tribe, who was more than 3 meters tall, roared and charged at Lu Ming. He unleashed his full power and threw 2 punches. 2 scorching hot fist forces crushed toward Lu Ming. Facing this attack, Lu Ming's expression was cold and he swept his spear out. Boom. The spear and the fist force collided and the fist force directly exploded. The spear light didn't stop and continued to attack the Red Flame tribe youth who was more than 3 meters tall. And NBSP, the other party's expression changed as he tried to block. But in the end he retreated and his arms exploded into pieces. Your strength. The 3-meter-tall young man of the Red Flame tribe widened his eyes in disbelief. In one move, Lu Ming had only casually waved his spear and he had severely injured him. Lu Ming had just broken through to true G.O. D-level. Why did his strength increase so much? A person's battle power was not only determined by the strength of their Shin power, but also by Shin skills, secret skills, and so on. Although Lu Ming's cultivation had broken through, he did not have a breakthrough in his G.O. delay skills. It was impossible for his combat strength to increase so much. He had no idea that Lu Ming had 5 divine fires in his body and 5 types of divine power. Once his cultivation level broke through, the 5 divine fires and 5 types of divine power would all break through. Naturally, his divine power would increase greatly. His combat strength had also increased by several times. Kill! Lu Ming roared. He held the long spear and charged towards the Scarlet Flame tribe. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Rays of terrifying spear radiance burst forth. They were much stronger than before. The young men of the Red Flame tribe, including the one who was more than 3 meters tall, tried their best to resist. However, the spear light went through the Red Flame tribe's young man who was more than 3 meters tall, and all 6 of the Red Flame tribe's top warriors were killed. All of them were assassinated by Lu Ming. The 3-meter-tall young man from the Red Flame tribe also coughed up blood and retreated. His injuries were even more serious. Lu Xianxia was almost scared to death when he saw this. Among the Scarlet Flame race's prodigies who had been killed earlier, there were some who were not weaker than him. However, Lu Ming had killed them easily. Go, quickly go. Lu Xianxia roared in his heart and turned to leave. Go, where do you want to go? How could Lu Ming let Lu Xianxia escape? He would not kill the others, but Lu Xianxia must die. Lu Ming cast the 9 Heavenly Kun Ping technique. In a flash he gave chase to Lu Xianxia. With Lu Ming's current cultivation base, he was too fast when he cast the 9 Heavenly Kun Ping technique. He caught up to Lu Xianxia in a few flashes. Lu Ming, if you dare to kill me, the unique Devil Academy will not let you off, Lu Xianxia shouted hysterically. Idiot! Lu Ming said coldly and swept his spear out. A huge spear light swept toward Lu Xianxia. Ah! Lu Xianxia bellowed. His entire body was covered in runes. He was going all out. He burned all his divine power and condensed a big black seal which blasted toward Lu Ming. This was the strongest attack he had ever used, and he only wanted to save his life. Boom! The huge seal and Lu Ming's spear's gleam collided. The huge seal shattered immediately while the spear's gleam swept across Lu Xianxia's body. Lu Xianxia let out a blood-curdling screech as his body was sent flying and crashed into a huge meteorite. Many of the bone armor on his body had been broken. He was already on the verge of death from his severe injuries. When Lu Ming was at 8th tier Void D realm, he was not Lu Xianxia's match in a head-on confrontation. However, Lu Ming's current cultivation base had broken through to 1st tier True D realm, and his combat strength had skyrocketed. He could already crush Lu Xianxia. I'll send you on your way. He looked at Lu Xianxia coldly and thrust his spear forward. Don't! Lu Xianxia let out a shrill cry. At that moment he regretted his actions. He regretted ambushing Lu Ming. Not only did he fail to kill Lu Ming, but he also helped Lu Ming achieve a breakthrough in his cultivation. He even lost his life. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in this world. The long spear stabbed out and Lu Xianxia was killed. Go, quickly go. At this moment the black-robed young man from the Eternal Sword sect screamed in horror and turned to run. The others followed. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming let out a long howl. The divine power in his body erupted and his fighting spirit soared. Lu Ming seemed to have transformed into D of war. He held a long spear in his hand and slaughtered his way through. The spear light continued to shoot out. In an instant 10 members of the Scarlet Flame tribe, 6 members of the Winged Demon Academy, and 6 members of the Immortal Sword sect were killed. The Scarlet Flame tribe that had besieged an heist group had been completely annihilated. At this moment there were only 3 people left from the Xian sect. And Hai and the other 2 with the highest cultivation were covered in injuries. The others were all dead. This was also the result of the experts of the Scarlet Flame tribe. If they had besieged Lu Ming and Hai and the others, their combat strength was not particularly strong. Otherwise, none of them would have survived. The 3 of them looked at Lu Ming in shock. Lu Ming continued to attack the people from the Scarlet Flame tribe, the Eternal Sword sect, and the Boundless Holy Land. Exhilarating, extremely exhilarating. Before this he had been suppressed. To be honest, he was very aggrieved. But now he had completely released all that aggrievement. He felt extremely happy. These people were crushed by him. One by one they died in Lu Ming's hands. Retreat, quickly retreat. The Heaven's favorite from the Scarlet Flame clan who was fighting with Bing Qing knew that things were not going well when he saw this. Lu Ming's combat strength was too strong. No one present could defeat him. If this continued, they would all die. The people from the Scarlet Flame tribe, the Immortal Sword sect, and the Boundless Holy Land all gathered together and ran for their lives. However, Lu Ming obviously did not want to let them off so easily. He chased after them with a gun in his hand. He killed many people along the way, leaving behind a trail of corpses. In the end, the Scarlet Flame tribe, the Immortal Sword sect, and the other sects all left behind white corpses. There were about 150 people on the other side, but only 50 were left. They were running for their lives. Lu Ming finally stopped his pursuit. Behind him, Bingqing and the others caught up. They were in a terrible situation. Now there were only about 30 people left from the Ice Soul clan and the other sections. The others were all dead. The Red Flame tribe wants to capture someone. This battle was too tragic. Brother Lu, this time it's all thanks to you. Bingqing cupped her fists and thanked Lu Ming solemnly. This trip to the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land was all thanks to Lu Ming. Without Lu Ming, they would not have been able to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Without Lu Ming, they would have died at the hands of the Red Flame tribe even if they were lucky enough to obtain the Icy Jade Chilling Heart. Brother Bing, you don't have to be so polite. Since I've accepted this mission, I'll naturally do my best. Let's go out. Lu Ming said. Then everyone rushed out. In the starry sky outside this road, the powerhouses of the Ice Soul clan and the Red Flame clan were still confronting each other. There were dozens of people on each side. They were all top masters of the Ice Soul clan and the Scarlet Flame clan. Each of them was a terrifying existence. The clash of auras between the two sides made the atmosphere in the starry sky extremely oppressive. In my opinion, the Ice Soul clan doesn't need to wait anymore. You're wasting your time. Your people won't be able to get the Ice Jade Cold Heart. Even if they do, they'll all die in the hands of the Red Flame clan's chosen ones. An old man from the Scarlet Flame tribe sneered. It's too early for you to be happy. Don't bite off your tongue later and slap yourself in the face. An expert from the Ice Soul clan replied. He's still not giving up, then just wait and see. The old man from the Scarlet Flame tribe sneered with a confident expression. The Ice Soul clan's experts did not look good. They had seen the number of Heaven's favorites from the Scarlet Flame tribe and the Immortal Sword sect who had gone in. There were many of them and there were many experts as well. If Bingqing and the others were to encounter them, the consequences would be unpredictable. They were actually very worried. Time pass, said Bai slowly. He's out. Suddenly someone shouted. They had very good eyesight and saw a figure rushing out from the Pas sage. It's the Red Flame tribe. Haha, it's a prodigy from my clan. Looks like your Ice Soul clan has been completely annihilated. The experts of the Red Flame clan laughed when they saw the people of the Red Flame clan. They all thought that the Red Flame clan had come out after killing the people of the Ice Soul clan. Even the Ice Soul clan's experts thought so. Their expressions were extremely unsightly. No, something's not right. Suddenly, a middle-aged man of the Red Flame tribe exclaimed. The others were shocked and couldn't help but look carefully. They found that the situation was not right. The number of people from the Scarlet Flame tribe, the Immortal Sword sect, and the other sects had greatly decreased. When they had first entered, there had been about 150 people. But now, with a single glance, there were only about 50 people. Their clothes were ragged and their breathing was unstable. Many of them were injured and their eyes were filled with panic and fear. This was the appearance of a defeated army. When the paragons of the Red Flame tribe and the Eternal Sword sect saw the powerful cultivators of the Red Flame tribe outside, they were ecstatic and rushed out of the meteorite area. A few of the Red Flame race's powerhouses waved their hands and used their divine power to cover them, allowing them to survive in this. What's going on? Where are the others? A scarlet-haired Scarlet Flame tribe elder roared. Dead, they're all dead, a young man from the Red Flame tribe answered in a sobbing tone. His eyes were still filled with fear. Previously, Lu Ming had displayed his might and killed his way through. He had almost died in Lu Ming's hands and was so scared that he almost peed his pants. Dead? How was that possible? What was happening inside? Yansen, what happened? The old man from the Red Flame tribe looked at Yansen as a terrifying aura exuded from his body. It's a kid called Lu Ming from the Zhou Xian sect. He's the one who killed many of our experts. It's all because of him. Yansen gritted his teeth and said, Zhou Xian sect? Lu Ming? The others were shocked. Given their status, they had never heard of Lu Ming. However, they could roughly guess what had happened. In the Zhou Xian sect, a man named Lu Ming had killed a large number of prodigies from the Scarlet Flame race, the Eternal Sword sect and other sections. However, the Zhou Xian sect actually had such a powerhouse. It should be known that those who entered this time were all less than 10,000 years old. The Heaven's Pride experts sent by the major forces were already the strongest group of people under 10,000 years old. What kind of person could sweep away everything? Lu Ming. The powerhouse of the Red Flame tribe muttered this name in a low voice, and a cold killing intent emanated from his body. On the other hand, the Ice Soul Clan members were ecstatic. It seemed that the Ice Soul Clan had won this time. I didn't expect the Xian sect to have such a prodigy. We've paid a huge price to invite the prodigies of the 6 major sections. We've made the right choice. Not bad, especially the Xian sect. Some of the Ice Soul Clan's experts were discussing in low voices. They're here. Suddenly, an Ice Soul Clan's expert looked ahead. Lu Ming, Bingqing, and the others were running toward them through the meteorite path. That's him. That kid is Lu Ming. Yensen pointed his finger at Lu Ming, his eyes ferocious. Everyone's gaze landed on Lu Ming in unison. How dare you kill so many people of the Red Flame tribe? You really don't know what's good for you. The Red Flame tribe wants this man. An old man from the Scarlet Flame tribe said coldly. He stepped forward towards the intersection of the meteorite road. His violent aura exploded and shook the world. However, he couldn't feel it on the meteorite road. Lu Ming naturally saw the powerhouses of the Scarlet Flame tribe. They stopped in their tracks and did not go out. Kid, come out and follow me back to the Red Flame tribe. I will give you an explanation for your crimes. The old man from the Scarlet Flame clan said ferociously. Old man, is there something wrong with your brain? If you have the ability, come and take me. I'll stand here and not move. Lu Ming stood on a meteorite and looked at the Scarlet Flame clan elder in disdain. This made the eyes of the Red Flame tribe members turn even colder. This is the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. I'm afraid the Red Flame clan doesn't have the ability to take someone here. A powerhouse from the Ice clan also said coldly. He stepped forward and stood opposite the old man from the Red Flame clan. An extremely cold aura burst out. Boom, boom, boom. The two's auras clashed and the cold and heat collided, causing a violent explosion. No one can stop the Red Flame clan if we want to take someone. Does the Ice Soul clan want to start a war with the Red Flame clan? The old man from the Scarlet Flame clan said coldly. The Ice Soul clan's experts' faces darkened. An all-out war with the Scarlet Flame clan was extremely disadvantageous to the Ice Soul clan. Was it worth it for Lu Ming? They couldn't help but hesitate. Elder, we've already obtained the Ice Jade Cold Heart. This time it was all thanks to Lu Ming. Our clan has been greatly indebted to him. Bingqing immediately sent a message to the elders of the Ice Soul clan. What? I've obtained the Icy Jade Heart. The elders of the Ice Soul clan were overjoyed when they heard this. Chapter 2751 Repelling the Scarlet Flame tribe. At first, the elders of the Ice Soul clan were not confident that they would be able to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart. After all, the Ice Soul clan had sent people to the ancestral land more than once in the past, but they had always returned empty-handed and suffered heavy losses. This time he had sent someone in to try his luck. He did not expect that he would actually obtain the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. Furthermore, it was all thanks to Lu Ming. Lu Ming had helped the Ice Soul clan obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart. This was a great favor. He, the Ice Soul clan, must protect him. The Ice Soul clan elders looked at each other and saw the determination in each other's eyes. This man is a guest invited by my Ice Soul clan. If you touch him, you're touching a member of my Ice Soul clan. If you want to start a war, then start a war. My Ice Soul clan is not afraid of anyone. The Ice Soul clan's powerhouse said. His eyes were firm and filled with a powerful fighting will. He did not back down at all. The old man from the Red Flame clan was surprised. He did not understand why the Ice Soul clan was so powerful. Seems like your Ice Soul clan is going to die with this kid. I'll fulfill your wish. The old man from the Red Flame tribe was very powerful. His red hair and long beard fluttered in the wind. His body was red like a burning piece of iron, and a terrifyingly high temperature kept spreading out. Boom. Suddenly, the old man of the Red Flame clan attacked. He threw a punch at the powerhouse of the Ice Soul clan. Ice Frost Divine Sword. The Ice Soul clan's expert was not afraid at all. He attacked as well. The bone-chilling sword radiance sealed the entire starry sky in ice. The two sides collided fiercely and the starry sky boiled. Terrifying shockwaves howled through the starry sky. Ice Soul clan, you're looking for death. The other strong cultivators of the Red Flame clan also shouted angrily. They released their terrifying auras and charged at the strong cultivators of the Ice Soul clan like erupting volcanoes. Kill! The Ice Soul clan's elders shouted and charged at the other party. The Scarlet Flame clan and the Ice Soul clan each had dozens of masters. They were fighting each other and the starry sky was in chaos. What a terrifying strength! Standing on the meteorite road, Lu Ming's heart was beating wildly as he watched the battle outside. The strength of these experts was truly shocking. They were much stronger than them. Any one of these powerhouses could crush him into pieces with a single move. Divine Realm experts. These experts were all Divine Realm experts without a doubt. Moreover, they were not ordinary Divine Realm experts. The weakest among them was probably a peak Divine Realm expert. As for whether there were any Divine King powerhouses inside, Lu Ming's cultivation level was too weak and he could not tell at all. This was because no matter if it was a peak Heavenly G, O, G or AG, O, G King, they were all much stronger than him. In his heart he didn't have much of an idea. The two sides were in a chaotic battle and the more they fought the more intense it became. However, inside the meteorite road there was a large formation blocking them. The chi outside did not affect them in the slightest. Boy, this is just a small fight. It's not very strong. Don't be too surprised. I've seen an expert who could shatter a star with a slap. That's a real expert. However, the power of a real peerless expert is earth-shaking. In his sea of consciousness, the voice of the quant formula sounded. He was obviously full of disdain for the experts fighting outside. Lu Ming pursed his lips and was somewhat speechless. The quant Tai formula referred to the unparalleled experts in the chaotic universe. It was too far away from him. Lu Ming's current goal was these experts outside. He looked forward to the day when he could reach such a level. Then he would be able to travel the universe with his physical body. Bang! The battle became more and more intense. An Ice Soul clan's master was and sent flying millions of miles away, spitting out blood. A Red Flame clan's master took the opportunity to attack. Ice sealing the world. The Ice Soul clan's expert roared. His divine power burned and a terrifying cold wave erupted from his body. He within a radius of thousands of miles froze, forming a huge ice block. The powerhouse from the Red Flame tribe was also sealed in the ice. He was shocked and also burned his divine power to break the ice. However, his breath also became weak. He was obviously injured. On the other side, an expert from the Red Flame clan had his arm cut off by an expert from the Ice Soul clan. Blood splattered in the starry sky. The why battle continued. This is the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. The Scarlet Flame clan can't do anything to us. The Ice Soul clan's expert roared. Do you really want to start a war with us for this kid? The expert of the Red Flame tribe roared. What's there to fear? The Ice Soul clan's expert replied. Although the Red Flame clan was slightly stronger than the Ice Soul clan, it was still hard to say who would win if they fought with all their might. You guys. The experts of the Red Flame tribe were also helpless. They were just saying that they would start a full-scale war with the Ice Soul clan. They would not really start a war. If they did, both sides would suffer. Right now, the situation in the Qin Heaven Star region was extremely complicated. Although the Scarlet Flame clan was strong and was known as the strongest clan in the Qin Heaven Star region, the Qin Heaven 13 clans occupied close to half of the Qin Heaven Star region's territory. Their strength was even more terrifying. Even though there was no sect that could compare to the Scarlet Flame tribe in terms of strength. However, as long as a few sects joined forces or even two overlord sects joined forces, they would be able to rival the Red Flame tribe. If the Scarlet Flame clan and the Ice Soul clan started a war and both sides suffered, the Qin Heavenly 13 clans would definitely attack immediately to destroy them and take their territory. Suddenly, the faces of the Red Flame tribe members changed. They looked at the distant starry sky. In that direction there were many rainbow lights flying toward them at an extremely fast speed. Oh no, another master from the Ice Soul clan is here. The Red Flame tribesmen's faces changed. Retreat. Well, retreat for today. That brat from the Kong Shen sect, don't let anyone from the Scarlet Flame tribe see him when he's out in the future. If they do, kill him. An old man of the Red Flame tribe roared and started to retreat. The experts of the Red Flame race took the remaining geniuses of the Red Flame race and the Immortal Sword sect and flew into the distance in streaks of light. The Ice Soul clan's experts did not pursue them. The Scarlet Flame tribe's people were very strong. They had King D realm experts. If they pursued them, they would suffer a great loss. Buzz and NBSP whoosh. In the distance, beams of light flew over and revealed their figures. They were all masters of the Ice Soul clan. The Red Flame race's Art. He ran really fast. A brawny man from the Ice Soul clan pouted. "Ninth young lord, you can come out." At that moment someone looked at Bing Qing, Lu Ming and the rest. Bing Qing and the others nodded and flew out of the meteorite road. Immediately the experts of the Ice Soul clan enveloped them with their divine power. "Ninth young lord, did you really obtain the icy jade chilling heart?" Many of the Ice Soul clan's experts looked at Bing Qing with fiery eyes. "This is true. Elders, please take a look." Bing Qing nodded and took out the jade box. He opened the jade box and revealed the ice jade chilling heart. A terrifying chill emanated from it. The icy jade cold heart, it really is the icy jade cold heart. It's exactly the same as what was recorded in my clan's ancient records. The heavens are blessing my clan. An old man from the Ice Soul clan, whose face was full of wrinkles, looked up and sighed. Chapter 2750 Surrender. The other powerhouses of the Ice Soul clan were also overjoyed. Some of them even had tears in their eyes. The Ice Jade Cold Heart was the most important treasure of the Ice Soul clan. It was of great significance to the Ice Soul clan. With the Ice Jade Cold Heart, the Ice Soul clan would be able to produce more supreme talents and rise to power in the future. The Ice Soul clan had the chance to surpass the Scarlet Flame clan and become the most powerful overlord in the Qin Heaven Star system. Naturally, they were excited. Bing Qing closed the jade box and kept it. "Let's go back to Ice Soul Star as soon as possible. The clan leader and the grand elders will be very happy to know about this," an expert from the Ice Soul clan said. Everyone immediately set off and returned to Ice Soul Star. After some time they returned to Ice Soul Star. When they returned to Ice Soul Star, the planet was in a state of celebration. This was because before they returned, the news of the icy jade heart had already been spread. That night, the Ice Soul clan held a large banquet to celebrate the arrival of the Ice Jade Cold Heart from the ancestral land. Lu Ming and the rest were all invited to this banquet. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan had personally attended the banquet. A large hall was filled with people. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan was sitting at the head of the table. Beside him were some of the Ice Soul clan's experts. Lu Ming and the rest were sitting at the lower seats. He saw Bing Qing in the crowd. "Father, it's all thanks to Brother Lu Ming from the Zhou Xian sect that we were able to obtain the Ice Jade Cold Heart this time. If it wasn't for Brother Lu, we definitely wouldn't have been able to get it back." Not long after the banquet started, Bing Qing shouted, "Yes, I have a rough idea of what happened this time. I didn't expect that the Zhou Xian sect would have such a prodigy. This is truly worthy of celebration." The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan smiled. He then looked at Lu Ming and said, "Lu Ming, the Ice Soul clan is greatly indebted to you for helping us retrieve the Ice Jade Cold Heart. If you need anything, just tell us. We'll try our best to satisfy you. Clan leader, I wonder if you can give me some cold moon stones." Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, although he already had 6 cold moon stones, the more cold moon stones he had, the better it would be for him to cultivate the ice chain. "Cold moon stone? How many do you need?" The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan asked. "That. Just give me 8 or 10 yuan and that'll do." Lu Ming chuckled. "What? 8 or 10? The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan and the other experts looked at each other before they smiled helplessly. "Lu Ming, I'll be honest with you. There aren't many cold moon stones left in the Ice Soul clan. Even if we search the entire clan, we won't be able to find more than 10. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan laughed bitterly. "So little?" Lu Ming was very surprised. The entire Ice Soul clan couldn't take out 8 to 10 pieces. He had made a fortune by getting 6 pieces this time. "How about this? As the clan leader, he'll take 2 cold moon stones from the Ice Soul clan's treasury and give them to you," the patriarch of the Ice Soul clan said. He waved his hand and ordered someone to get the cold moon stone. "Thank you, chief." Lu Ming expressed his thanks. The cold moon stone was so rare that it was already good enough to get 2 more. In addition to the 6 from before, there were a total of 8 pieces. The remaining 8 chains of the ice chain were each a piece. It didn't take long for the person to bring the cold moon stone. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan took out the cold moon stone. Immediately, 2 stones that looked like bright moons appeared. They were exactly the same as the one Lu Ming had. Lu Ming, these 2 cold moon stones are for you. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan waved his hand and 2 cold moon stones flew toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming quickly took them and put them away. Also, take this gold and jade token. Then the clan leader of the Ice Soul clan took out a golden token. He waved his hand and it flew toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming took it. It was cold to the touch and a chill emanated from it. This golden jade token represents the highest rank of the Ice Soul clan's guest. In the future you can use this golden jade to ask for help from the Ice Soul clan when you're in a place that only has our Ice Soul clan. The clan leader of the Ice Soul clan said. Thank you, Chief. Lu Ming was overjoyed as he kept it. This golden jade token could be used to seek help from the Ice Soul clan. It was extremely valuable and could be of great use at a critical moment. Many people looked at him with envy. The banquet ended and the crowd dispersed. Lu Ming and the rest stayed on Ice Soul Star for another 3 days. 3 days later they bade farewell and returned to Kong Xian sect. They took the teleportation formation and headed toward the Kong Xian sect. After some traveling they returned to the Kong Xian sect. After returning to Kong Xian sect, they rushed to the Mission Palace Hall to submit their mission and exchange it for rewards. Lu Ming, thank you for your help this time. On the way, the long-faced young man suddenly stopped and cupped his fists at Lu Ming to express his gratitude. As the team leader this time, it's my responsibility to keep you guys alive. You don't have to thank me. Lu Ming said indifferently. No, without you this time I would have been dead for sure, not to mention completing the mission and exchanging for points. You saved my life and I, Lu Chong, am a person who knows how to repay kindness. From now on if you have any orders I will not refuse. Lu Chong bowed and cupped his fists once more. This time he was really convinced by Lu Ming. Back then when he first met Lu Ming and found out that Lu Ming was their team leader, he was very unconvinced and wanted to challenge Lu Ming to get lost. However, the talent and combat power that Lu Ming had displayed throughout the journey was simply a miracle. He was deeply convinced. He planned to follow Lu Ming in the future. Lu Chong, now you know how powerful my boss is. If you follow my boss you'll get benefits in the future. And Hai grinned. I, Zhao Feng, am willing to follow boss Lu Ming in the future. I will not reject you. The other young man was even more direct. He simply called Lu Ming boss. You guys want to follow me? Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat and he asked. Yes. Lu Chong, Zhao Feng and Hai all nodded. You didn't join any other saint factions before? Lu Ming asked again. No, I'm not from any faction. I don't have any either. Zhao Feng and Hai both shook their heads. I used to be from the Floating Light faction, but am willing to leave the Floating Light faction and follow you, boss. Lu Chong finally said. After this incident, Lu Chong had a feeling that Lu Ming's talent was far above those holy sons. He might be able to defeat all the other holy sons and holy virgins in the future and dominate the entire Kong Xian sect. He naturally had to join such a genius as soon as possible. Alright, then you all can follow me. However, you must swear on your life force origin that you are truly loyal to me. Otherwise, I will not accept you. Lu Ming said. He did need some help in the Kong Xian sect. That way it would be more convenient for him to do certain things. For example, information gathering. Chapter 2751 Jingyu's Origins. Alright, I swear. And Nbisp and Hai, Lu Chong and Zhao Feng immediately began to swear upon their life essences. Lu Chong, you don't have to leave the Floating Light faction for now. Help me gather information. If there's any news from the Floating Light faction, let me know. Lu Ming said. Yes. Lu Chong nodded. Let's go in exchange for our reward. Lu Ming said. Not long after, they arrived at the mission hall and submitted their missions. Each of them received 20,000 points. After that, Lu Ming gave them some instructions and then went their separate ways. After they dispersed, Lu Ming went to the Divine Pulse Tower immediately because he had something to do. And Nbisp, ever since he had broken through to the true G.O.D. realm, he had sensed some changes in Jingye's portrait in his mind. He had not had the time to observe before. He entered the Divine Pulse Tower and sat down cross-legged. With a single thought, Jing Ye's portrait flew out from his glabella and floated in the air. Then Lu Ming circulated his divine power and injected it into Jing Ye's portrait. When Lu Ming's divine energy was injected into Jing Ye's portrait, it began to glow. Then Jing Ye's portrait seemed to come to life. He took a step out of the portrait and floated in the air. Senior Jingyu, Lu Ming was extremely surprised. Jingyu has long since fallen. I'm nothing more than a remnant of his soul imprint. I've told you some things and am about to disappear as well. Startled Feathers Mark sighed. Senior, what do you want me to do? Lu Ming asked. Back then he had sworn on his life source in front of Bai Ye that he would help Jingyu accomplish his mission. However, he had no idea what it was exactly. Your cultivation base was too weak before. Now that you've reached the true G realm, I'll tell you everything, Jingyu said. At this point, his eyes revealed a complicated expression as if he was reminiscing. After a long time he began to explain in detail. Do you know about the Great Void Holy Dynasty? Jing Ye's remnant imprint asked. I don't know, Lu Ming shook his head. Oh, then where is the area you're currently in? What star area is it called? Startled Feathers imprint asked. This place of mine is called the Qin Heaven Starfield. Lu Ming answered. So it's in the Qin Heaven Starfield. And you just came out from a small world not long ago. No wonder you've never heard of it. The Startled Feather imprint muttered a few words and continued. The primeval universe is vast and boundless. A small kiliacosm is undoubtedly the smallest. Many experts from small kiliacosm will appear on some vital planets when they come to the primeval universe. Countless vital stars gather together to form a galaxy. When the many galaxies gather together, they form a star domain. The distance between different star fields is very far. To be the overlord of a certain star field, one is a star field level force. However, above the star sector level powers, there are also universe level powers. Universe level powers usually occupy many star sectors and dominate a region. Their powers are extremely powerful and prosperous. The Startled Feather imprint explained, and Lu Ming was secretly shocked. A star sector level force dominated a star sector. Above the star sector level powers, there were actually universe level powers. A single power that occupied so many star sectors, just how powerful was that? The Great Void Holy Dynasty is a universal power. They occupy many star regions. If I remember correctly, one of the most remote star regions is the Qin Heaven Star region. Jingyu said. The Qin Heaven Star region is a star region under the Great Void Holy Dynasty. Furthermore, it's from an extremely remote star field. Lu Ming was even more shocked. Now you should have a rough idea of the power of the Great Void Holy Dynasty. Let's talk about me. I was originally a prince of the Great Void Holy Dynasty, ranked 18th, and was the 18th prince. The Startled Feather Seal immediately began to explain in detail. Jingyu was the 18th prince of the Great Void Holy Dynasty. He was extremely talented and had unparalleled talent. Even in the history of the Great Void Holy Dynasty, he was a rare talent. At such a young age, he had already become a top expert of the Great Void Holy Dynasty. Such talent naturally caused others to be envious. That would be the other princes, even the crown prince. This was because there were many voices in the Great Void Holy Dynasty that called for Jingyu to lead the Great Void Holy Dynasty in the future. If he did, he would definitely bring the Great Void Holy Dynasty to greater prosperity. However, one day a shocking piece of news came out. Jingyu, the 18th prince, had actually tainted the current Sacred Emperor's wife. The Sage Emperor's wife was the Sage Emperor's most beloved concubine. The moment this news was released, the world was in an uproar. After that, Jingyu was imprisoned for committing a heinous crime. His cultivation was even crippled and he was sentenced to death. The prince of the Great Void Holy Dynasty fell just like that. As for his lineage, they were either killed or imprisoned. From then on, they became history. Lu Ming finally knew that Bai Ye and the others on Netherworld Mountain in the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm were Jing Ye's followers. Back then I was framed. Someone colluded with the Saint Emperor's concubine to frame me. At this point, Shockfeather's eyes revealed a strong sense of unwillingness and hatred. Who framed you? Lu Ming asked. I don't know. Maybe it's the crown prince or maybe it's another prince. Jingyu shook his head. What I want you to do is to go to the Great Void Holy Dynasty and find out who has framed me. Avenge me. Also clear my name. But my strength, Lu Ming smiled bitterly. The Great Void Holy Dynasty was a universe-level power. Any expert from there could probably kill him with a single breath. How was he going to avenge Jingyu? You are indeed very weak. With your current cultivation, you can't do anything if you go to the Great Void Holy Dynasty. Hence there is no time limit for this matter. It's not too late for you to go when you have the strength in the future. Jingyu said. Do you have any other divine skills or secret techniques? Can you give me some so that I can increase my strength? Lu Ming's eyes darted around and he began to ask for benefits. In the future, when he went to the Great Void Holy Dynasty, he would definitely face many dangers and risk his life. How could he not ask for some benefits now? Surprisingly, startled Feathers Mark shook his head and said, I've given you everything you should have. The Universe Thousand Dao Scroll and the Origin Ancient Word, War are the foundations that will allow you to rise. The other secret skills are secondary. Giving you too much will not do you any good. No more. Lu Ming was rather depressed. To be honest, it will be very difficult for you to complete my task. Therefore, you will have to experience a lot of trials along the way. Only then will you be able to help me complete my wish. In this world, there are always losses and gains. You have obtained the Heaven and Earth 10,000 Dao chant in the battle symbol art, so you naturally have to pay a little. Alright, this mark of mine is about to disappear. I hope you can complete it. Also, don't forget to save Bai Ya and the others in the future. After saying that, the startled feather seal shook and then burst like a bubble, disappearing without a trace. Chapter 2752 Righteous Army in Danger. Jing Yes mark had disappeared, and so had his portrait. It had been reduced to a blank sheet of paper. Buzz. Lu Ming initially thought that since there was only a piece of white paper left, it would be useless. He did not expect that the white paper would turn into a ray of light and fly back into Lu Ming's sea of consciousness, floating above it. Could it be that this portrait still has some use? Lu Ming pondered and continued to inject divine power. However, there was no reaction at all. Lu Ming could only give up. With my current cultivation, it's impossible for me to avenge Jingyu. For now, I should focus on my cultivation and raise my cultivation. Lu Ming shook his head and put Jingyu's matter to the back of his mind for the time being. He began to cultivate and then injected divine power into the Quant 1 Tai formula. Now that his cultivation had increased greatly, he naturally had to pour in divine power again. Although the divine power he had poured in when he was at the empty G.O.D. realm was not used up, it was not enough for him to use now. After some time, Lu Ming left the divine pulse tower when he felt that he had stored enough divine energy. It's time to settle the matter of the chaotic astral river. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a murderous intent. It was time to get rid of the Nether Hall and the Carefree sect. It was time to take back the Heaven realm and the Primordial realm. However, before returning to the chaotic astral river, Lu Ming planned to exchange for an interplanetary warship. He still had tens of thousands of points. It was enough to exchange for a good interplanetary warship. Lu Ming immediately went to the inner sect area, where he could exchange for treasures. There was a dazzling array of treasures here. Divine weapons, divine elixirs, various materials, interplanetary warships, and so on could all be exchanged with points. The price of an interplanetary warship was very high. Back then, the celestial warships of the Righteous Heaven Army were of the lowest grade, so they were naturally not particularly expensive. However, some of the celestial warships were very expensive. Lu Ming walked around and realized that there were various prices for the Starry Sky battleships. Some of them could be exchanged for only 100 points. 100 points could be converted into 1 million divine crystals. The S.P.C. battleships of the Righteous Army were of this grade. Of course, Lu Ming was not interested in an interplanetary warship of this level. 100 points, 500 points, 1,000 points, 5,000 points. The most expensive Starry Sky warship actually required 1 million points to exchange. Lu Ming's eyes widened. In the end, Lu Ming exchanged for a 5,000 points Starry Sky warship. Its level was much higher than the 100 points one. In addition, Lu Ming exchanged for 2 500 points Starry Sky warships, planning to bring them back for Zhu Long and the rest to use. Lu Ming also exchanged for some divine pills. These divine elixirs were very useful for those below the Void G.O.D. realm. They could increase their cultivation quickly. He had prepared them for his parents, Qiu Yu and his disciples. In the end, Lu Ming spent a total of 10,000 points. When everything was ready, Lu Ming stepped into the teleportation formation and headed toward the chaotic astral river. After spending more than a month, Lu Ming returned to Yunfeng City in the Yunfeng Pavilion. You want to go to the righteous army? Beside the teleportation array, an old man in charge of managing the teleportation array looked at Lu Ming in surprise. That's right. I'm going to the righteous army. Is there a problem? Lu Ming asked. I'm afraid you can't go to the righteous army now. The old man said. Can't go? Why? Lu Ming asked again. He had a bad feeling. There's a war going on over at the righteous army. All the teleportation routes of the righteous army have been blocked, so we can't teleport in. The old man said. What? Was he fighting a war? Senior, what's going on? Lu Ming was shocked. It is said that the Nether Hall, the Carefree sect, and a few other forces have joined forces to besiege the righteous heavenly army. The righteous heavenly army has been defeated one after another, and many vital planets have been occupied. Now only the righteous heavenly planet is still struggling to hold on. As for the specific details, I am not too sure. The old man said. Nether Hall, Carefree sect. Lu Ming's body exuded a cold killing intent and a terrifying aura filled the air. Really? True G. Oh. Sensing Lu Ming's aura, the old man shivered and revealed a shocked expression. He did not expect Lu Ming to be a true G. Oh. D at such a young age. Senior, I want to go to the star closest to the righteous army. Lu Ming said. Hey. The force closest to the righteous army is the W and G High family. I'll send you to a life planet of the W and G High family immediately. The old man nodded continuously. If he had reached the true God realm at such a young age, he was most likely a heaven's favorite of some big force. He didn't dare to neglect him. Lu Ming stepped onto the teleportation array and arrived on a planet belonging to W and G High's family. He then took out the Starry Sky battleship. The Starry Sky battleship turned into a rainbow light and rushed toward the true heaven star at an astonishing speed. What's that? What an amazing speed. That's an interplanetary warship. My G. Oh, it's so fast. What level is this warship? Some people widened their eyes in shock when they saw Lu Ming's interplanetary warship. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming's interplanetary warship had already gone far away. The battle situation on True Heaven Star was more intense than Lu Ming had imagined. This was because most of the Righteous Heaven planet's territory had already been conquered, and only the Righteous Heaven Army headquarters was left. Almost everyone else had retreated to the headquarters of the Righteous Army, like Zhu Long and the others. At this moment, countless troops had surrounded the headquarters of the Righteous Sky Army. The Righteous Heaven Army headquarters activated the mountain protecting formation to block the attacks from the outside. Break through the Righteous Army's formation. High up in the sky, the leader of the unfettered sect, Situ Haonan, was giving orders. Beside him stood the palace master of the underworld hall, Kong Ji, and a few other leaders. Boom, boom, boom. The experts of the various forces joined forces and launched all sorts of attacks at the Righteous Heaven Army. The formation of the Righteous Heaven Army trembled continuously as if it was going to be broken at any moment. This time, the Righteous Heaven Army will be annihilated for sure. Kong Ji's eyes revealed an excited expression. The ancestor of technique had always been a big threat to him. He had been at odds with him for so many years. This time he had to get rid of the ancestor of technique. His gaze could not help but look in a certain direction. There was a gorgeous armchair floating in the air, and a young man in embroidered clothes was sitting on it. There were a few young men standing beside the armchair. Among them were Situ Haonan's two sons, Situ Feng and Situ Shao. Besides them, his son Kong Long was also there. They all stood respectfully beside the young man in embroidered clothes. Looking at that young man in embroidered clothes, Kong Ji's eyes revealed a look of respect. That was because the young man in embroidered clothes was an inner sect disciple of the unique Demon Academy, one of the 3 overlords in the Qin Heaven Star region. Moreover, he was also a genius. Such a person's status was so high that he could not compare to him. This time, it was Situ Feng and the others who had returned to the chaotic astral river with this young man in embroidered clothes. The other powers immediately joined forces with the Walkabout sect and the Nether Palace to attack the Righteous Heavenly Army. The Battle of the True Heaven Star. The Ident. 1. Tai of an inner sect disciple of the unique Demon Academy was no small matter. Situ Feng had been lucky to have entered the unique Demon Academy and joined a faction. That was how he had gotten to know the inner sanctum disciples of the unique demon academy. However, his cultivation was still far from being a true Luming. So what if he was talented? So what if he obtained first place in the Qin Heavenly 13 clans? He had joined the Kong Xian sect stupidly. How could his status be compared to that of the inner disciples of the unique demon academy? Therefore, as soon as the inner sanctum disciples of the unique demon academy arrived, a few forces that had intended to remain neutral immediately joined forces with them and attacked the righteous army. With the alliance of the few major forces, they did not even need the inner disciples of the unique demon academy to attack. They had already broken into the core of the righteous heavenly army. Boom. Boom. The attacks turned into beams of divine light and bombarded the Jingtian army's mountain-protecting formation. The formation trembled and cracks began to appear on it. What do we do? Within the mountain-protecting formation, the faces of the Jingtian army soldiers were extremely ugly. At most, we'll fight them to the death. Not bad, killing one is enough, killing two is good. Many people roared, showing expressions of swearing to die together. In the middle, the ancestor of technique was silent and didn't speak. In the crowd, the ancestral dragon, the Tan longhorn beetle, the 9 lives demonic cicada, and the others all looked serious. I never thought that we would still die at the hands of the Serene Palace even after we escaped from the Heaven Realm. Is this our fate? Some people sighed, feeling somewhat unwilling. They had finally defeated the evil D race after much difficulty and escaped from the small Kiliacosm to the primal universe. However, they still couldn't escape from the Nether Palace. I hope that Lu Ming can take revenge for us in the future. Someone sighed. It's hard to say. Among them, there are inner disciples of the Yimo Academy, one of the 3 overlords of the Qintian galaxy. They are too strong. This is not a small Kiliacosm of the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm. This is a huge force in the primeval universe. How can Lu Ming defeat them? That's right. I reckon that the people from the unique Devil Academy will still deal with Lu Ming in the future. I'm afraid that Lu Ming will not be able to even protect himself. After all, this is not a small Kiliacosm. Some of the Heaven Realm experts were discussing helplessly. In the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm they could be considered experts, but in the primeval universe they were nothing. They could only be considered at the bottom. Although Lu Ming was an unprecedented genius in the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm, he was only in a small Kiliacosm. In a large Kiliacosm he was probably not much. At this moment the protective formation let out a cracking sound. More and more cracks appeared and finally with a bang it exploded. The mountain protecting formation was broken. Prepare to fight. Someone shouted. Don't act rashly, get into a defensive formation. The ancestor of technique shouted and stopped everyone. Remember, the person they want to kill is me. If I die in battle you all must surrender. Do you understand? The ancestor of technique's gaze swept across the people of the righteous army. No, we would rather die than surrender. That's right, we will never surrender. The people of the righteous army shouted. You guys. The ancestor of technique was also helpless. Surrender? That's fine too. Well, only kill a few of you and most of you can surrender as long as you're honest in the future. The leader of the free and unfettered sect, Situ Haonan, sneered. He took the first step forward, Kongji and the others followed. Don't move yet. This is my order. The ancestor of technique instructed. His gaze became sharp. Many people's expressions changed as they gritted their teeth and lowered their heads. Kongji, Situ Haonan, I'll fight with you. Let's see who can do anything to me. After that, the ancestor of technique stepped into the air alone. A battle sword appeared in his hand and his battle-intent sword. The ancestor of technique was facing the free and unfettered sect, Nether Hall and their army alone. Fa Ming, do you think that you can fight all of us with just a medium-grade 7th rank combat sword? Situ Haonan sneered. Who wants to fight me? The ancestor of technique shouted. His battle intent was like a rainbow as he swept towards Situ Haonan and the others. Situ Haonan and the others turned their gazes but no one made a move. They were very clear about how terrifying the ancestor of technique's combat power was, especially Situ Haonan, Kongji Mokin and a few others. They had all fought with the ancestor of technique before, so they naturally wouldn't make the first move. What's there to be arrogant about? I'll fight you. Beside Kongji, A brawny man in blood-red armor stepped out with a blood-red saber on his shoulder. His body emitted a powerful aura. This burly man was from another force, a Grand Elder of the Blood-Red Association. He was at the 4th stage of true G.O.D realm, and his fighting power was not below that of Situ Haonan and the others. He had never fought with the ancestor of technique before, so he was naturally not afraid of him. Seeing this person attack Situ Haonan and the others didn't stop him. They could use this person to test the ancestor of technique's strength. Make your move. I'll give you the chance to make your move. The ancestor of technique looked at the Grand Elder of the Blood-Red Association indifferently. Arrogant. You're looking for death. The Grand Elder of the Red Blood Society shouted coldly. Violent divine power burst out. The saber in his hand whizzed out and slashed at the ancestor of technique. Buzz. The ancestor of technique also slashed out with his sword. Clang. The blade and the sword collided with a loud boom. Then a figure retreated. It was the Grand Elder of the Red Blood Association. He was no match for the ancestor of technique in the first move and was forced to retreat. Kill. The ancestor of technique shouted. His body was like a rainbow light as he charged towards the Grand Elder of the Blood-Red Association. Sword light broke through the sky one after another, and it was endless. Divine skill at the peak of Stage 3. The Grand Elder of the Red Blood Association was shocked. The ancestor of technique's divine skill was already at the peak of the 3rd stage. With the addition of a middle-grade level 7 divine weapon, even if the ancestor of technique was only at the 3rd stage of true G.O.D, his combat power was far above his. He kept retreating and wanted to escape, but the ancestor of technique wouldn't let him escape. After slashing dozens of times, he split the man's strength and killed him on the spot. So strong. Many people were shocked. It. The master of the Red Blood Society roared in anger. His heart ached so much that he felt like dying. The Blood-Red Association only had a total of 3 Stage 4 true G.O.D realm experts. Now that one of them had died in battle, he couldn't wait to tear the ancestor of technique into pieces. Who else wants to fight? The ancestor of technique's aura was wild as he scanned the surroundings. How dare you kill the Grand Elder of the Blood-Red Association? You're courting death. The president of the Red Blood Association roared furiously. Like a mad lion, he burst out and emitted a terrifying aura. 5th stage true G.O.D realm. This was the cultivation of the president of the Red Blood Society. His cultivation was even stronger than Situ Haonan, Kongji and the others. The power of the Blood-Red Association had always been greater than that of the Nether Hall, the Carefree Sect and the Righteous Army. This time he had attacked the Righteous Army because he wanted to curry favor with the inner disciples of the unique Demon Academy. Stage 5 true G.O.D realm? Come on. The ancestor of technique's eyes were filled with battle intent. Kill. The president of the Red Blood Association shouted and slashed out with his saber. In an instant, dozens of saber lights were slashed at the vital parts of the ancestor of technique's body. Chapter 2754 Domineering Ancestor of Technique. The ancestor of technique wasn't afraid of the president of the Blood-Red Association's attack at all. He held his sword and met the attack. The sword whistled non-stop and the sword light rushed towards the Blood-Red Association's president. Clang, clang. In an instant there were dozens of explosions between the two of them. Then a figure retreated. It was the ancestor of technique. Against the Blood-Red Association's president, who was at true G.O.D stage 5, the ancestor of technique was suppressed and not his match. No matter how strong he is, he's going to die this time. The palace master of the Underworld Palace said coldly. Of course. The outcome has already been decided and it can't be changed, Situ Haonan said confidently. Kill. The president of the Blood-Red Association had the upper hand in one strike. Naturally, he would not miss the opportunity and launched a violent attack on the ancestor of technique. A stage 5 true G.O.D is nothing more than this. The ancestor of technique's long hair fluttered in the wind, and his aura was wild. His battle intent reached its peak and his divine power burst forth. Instead of retreating, he advanced and charged at the sanguine red guild leader. Clang. The two of them collided once again. However, when the blade and the sword clashed, the aura on the ancestor of Technique's body suddenly increased. The sword shone with a dazzling light and actually suppressed the sanguine red guild leader. Buzz. The sanguine red guild leader's body shook violently, and he was sent flying like a cannonball. Stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm. The sanguine red guild leader roared. What? Fourth stage True G. Oh. D Realm. Fa Ming has broken through to the fourth stage True G. Oh. D Realm. How can he break through so quickly? He can it. Kong Ji, Situ Haonan and the others shouted in shock. The ancestor of Technique's strength was originally incomparably powerful. If he was at stage 3 True G. Oh. D Realm, he naturally wouldn't be the blood-red president's match. But after breaking through to stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm, it was a different story. Whoosh. The ancestor of Technique became one with his sword and turned into a bright sword light, attacking the sanguine red guild leader. The sanguine red president roared and used all his strength to fight against the ancestor of Technique. However, after a few moves he was completely suppressed. He was no match for the ancestor of Technique and was forced to retreat with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm. The ancestor of Technique's strength was originally incomparably powerful. If he was at stage 3 True G. Oh. D Realm, he naturally wouldn't be the blood-red president's match. But after breaking through to stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm, it was a different story. The sanguine red guild leader roared. What? Fourth stage True G. Oh. D Realm, Fa Ming has broken through to the fourth stage True G. Oh. D Realm. Whoosh. How can he break through so quickly? He can it. The ancestor of Technique became one with his sword and turned into a bright sword light, attacking the sanguine red guild leader. Kong Ji, Situ Haonan and the others shouted in shock. The sanguine red president roared and used all his strength to fight against the ancestor of Technique. However, after a few moves he was completely suppressed. He was no match for the ancestor of Technique and was forced to retreat with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Quickly help me, quickly help me. The sanguine red guild leader roared. He was truly a little afraid now. If this continued he might be killed by the ancestor of Technique. Let's attack together. Now is the time for the two sides to fight. There's no need to talk about so many rules in a battle between two armies. Let's kill him together. That's right, let's attack together. Kong Ji and Situ Haonan both shouted. They were completely shameless. As soon as he finished speaking, one figure after another stepped out and rushed towards the ancestor of Technique. Kong Ji Mo and Situ Haonan. There were a total of 9 experts, all of whom were at the stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm. Including the sanguine red guild leader, there were a total of 10 people. Boom. 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 The top 10 experts joined forces and launched a terrifying attack at the ancestor of Technique. Facing the joint attack of so many experts, the ancestor of Technique didn't dare to be careless. He counterattacked with all his strength and both sides started an intense fight. The two sides fought, but 2 fists were no match for 4 hands. The ancestor of Technique was only one person after all. Facing the siege of the top 10 experts he slowly fell into a disadvantage. Despicable. A bunch of despicable and shameless people. So many people are attacking the general. The people of the righteous army roared in anger. Unfortunately, no one could interfere in such a battle. After all, the righteous army had only been established for a short period of time and didn't have any stage 4 True G. Oh. D Realm experts. In the past it was completely carried by the ancestor of Technique alone. Therefore they could only watch. If they went up they would only be a hindrance and distract the ancestor of Technique. Bang. The ancestor of Technique was careless and was T by a palm. His body was forced back and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Ming, go to H. I'll go to H. L. Kong Ji roared ferociously and took the opportunity to attack the ancestor of Technique. He wanted to kill the ancestor of Technique. Kong Ji, I'm afraid that you're still far from being able to kill me. Sword body technique. The ancestor of Technique let out a long howl. His body suddenly burst forth with endless sword chi. His entire person seemed to have transformed into a peerless divine sword. Buzz. A beam of sword chi shot out from the battle sword in the Ancestor of Technique's hand and slashed towards Kong Ji. The terrifying power made Kong Ji's expression change. Kong Ji tried his best to block it. However, as the sword light said through, Kong Ji's defense was shattered. He screamed and flew out. A half-meter-long sword wound appeared on his body, almost cutting him in half. Secret skill. You've actually cultivated a secret skill. Kong Ji roared in shock. The others were also shocked. There are still some ordinary secret skills in the chaotic astral river. However, there are very few secret skills that can increase one's combat strength. And the Ancestor of Technique had obviously cultivated a secret technique that could increase his combat power. Interesting. I want the secret technique. The eyes of the inner sanctum disciple of the unique demon academy, who had been sitting on the armchair and looking listless, lit up slightly. A hint of greed appeared in his eyes. Kill. The Ancestor of Technique let out a long hiss. The sword chi on his body became more and more resplendent as he charged towards Kong Ji and the others. He had indeed cultivated a secret skill, the sword body technique. Once he used it, the power of his sword technique could be increased by 50%. At the critical moment, the power of the sword art was increased by 50%, which was already extremely shocking. Let's attack together. Kong Ji's heart was shocked. He didn't dare to resist and retreated while shouting. The others all charged at the Ancestor of Technique. Die. The Ancestor of Technique's eyes were filled with killing intent. He sent out a dozen sword lights, forcing back all the experts who were attacking him. Then he stared at one of them and started to attack. That person was shocked and frantically tried to block. However, he was only at the 4th stage of true G. O. D realm and couldn't block the Ancestor of Technique. After blocking a few moves, he was severely injured. Die. The Ancestor of Technique slashed down with his sword and directly split this person in half. Another stage 4 true G. O. D expert was killed. Kill. After killing this person, the Ancestor of Technique's aura became even stronger as he charged towards the others. Kong Ji, Sidu Haonan Mo Ken and the rest were extremely shocked. They didn't dare to take it head-on and retreated madly. Good, the general is mighty. When the righteous army saw the Ancestor of Technique's display of power, they were extremely excited. Kong Ji, hand over your life. The Ancestor of Technique stared at Kong Ji and charged towards him. Among these people, the one that the Ancestor of Technique wanted to kill the most was Kong Ji. It was Kong Ji who treated the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm as his farm and used the elites of the Heaven Realm and the Primordial Realm to refine divine pills. Moreover, most of the demi-G. O. DS that walked out of the Heaven Realm were controlled by Kong Ji. As long as Kong Ji was killed, the restrictions placed on them would naturally be lifted. No. Kong Ji was shocked. He frantically retreated, his face filled with fear. You can't escape. No one could stop the Ancestor of Technique as he quickly chased after Kong Ji. The distance between the two sides was getting closer and closer. Long save me, Kong Ji shouted towards Kong Long. Father, senior brother, please save my father. Kong Long was anxious as he looked at the young man. Don't worry, your father won't die. The young man in the brocade robe stood up and took a step forward. His body was like a bolt of lightning as he pounced toward the Ancestor of Technique. Boom. Before it even reached him, the young man in the brocade robe struck out with his palm. A palm print as black as ink pressed down on the Ancestor of Technique. His power was shocking. Just you? The young man in embroidered clothes made his move. He sent out a pitch-black palm print, which made the Ancestor of Technique's heart palpitate. He couldn't be bothered to chase after Kong Ji. The Ancestor of Technique slashed out with all his strength, and a bright sword light burst out. Boom. With a deafening boom, the Ancestor of Technique's sword radiance hit the black palm print. The sword radiance couldn't withstand it and collapsed under a shock. The palm print didn't stop and continued to attack the Ancestor of Technique. The Ancestor of Technique used his sword to block, but he was sent flying thousands of miles away by the palm print. He spat out a mouthful of blood and his face was extremely pale. What a terrifying strength. Is this the fighting strength of the inner disciples of the unique Devil Academy? The Ancestor of Technique thought to himself, and a hint of helplessness appeared in his eyes. This young man in embroidered clothes had a cultivation as high as stage 6 true G. O. D realm. Moreover, his fighting power was extremely powerful, far from what Kang Ji and the like could compare to. Even if they were at the same level, the ancestor of technique wasn't confident that he could defeat this person. General. The people of the righteous army revealed looks of despair. Powerful, powerful. The inner sanctum disciple of the unique Devil Academy is indeed powerful. Haha, Feiming go to each. So. Kang Ji roared madly in his heart. His eyes were extremely ferocious. Your strength is not bad. It's not easy to have someone like you in the chaotic astral river. How about this, hand over your secret technique. Also, in the future become my dog and work for me. If you do that, I can spare your life. The young man in embroidered clothes had his hands behind his back and looked down at the ancestor of technique with an arrogant expression. Ha ha ha. The ancestor of technique laughed heartily. If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you want me to bow down and become your dog, dream on. Also, if you want my secret technique, dream on. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. The young man's face turned cold. Divine power circulated all over his body and cold killing intent filled the air. At the same time, a battle blade as black as ink appeared in his hand. Buzz. A terrifying blade light flashed and slashed at the ancestor of technique. The ancestor of technique used all his strength to block with his sword. Clang. The sword light dissipated. The ancestor of technique grunted and flew thousands of miles away. He spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. His body was covered in small knife wounds. The ancestor of technique was no match for the young man in embroidered clothes. The difference in cultivation was too great. General. The faces of the righteous army turned pale with fright. Kang Ji and the others were naturally overjoyed. You really don't know your place if you want to fight against senior brother Luo. On the side, Kong Long, Situ Shao and the others sneered. I'll ask you one more time. Are you going to hand over the secret technique or not? The young man in embroidered clothes asked again. If you want to kill me, then kill me. If you want the secret art, then dream on. The ancestor of technique sneered. You're looking for death, dark demon divine blade. The young man was furious. His divine power burst forth, and all the power in his body gathered to form a terrifying blade light that charged toward the ancestor of technique. In his rage, the young man in embroidered clothes had already used his full power for this blade. The power was extremely shocking. An ordinary stage 5 true G. Oh. D would have been killed in one blade. The terrifying blade light pressed down on the ancestor of technique. The ancestor of technique would definitely not be able to withstand this blade and would die under it. General. The people of the righteous army cried out. If you die, then die. The ancestor of technique let out a long roar and used all his strength. Even if he was going to die, he would die brilliantly and die in battle. He would not just wait helplessly for death. Boom, boom, boom. However, at this moment, a violent boom came from the depths of the sky. Explosions kept ringing out in the air. Many people looked up subconsciously. That is, a starship. What a beautiful starship. What kind of starship is this? It actually charged into the atmosphere. Many people had different thoughts. An ordinary person would stop after entering the atmosphere on an interplanetary warship. However, this interplanetary warship didn't stop at all. It was heading straight for the headquarters of the Righteous Sky Army at an extremely fast speed. The young man in embroidered clothes was also stunned, because he realized that the Starry Sky battleship was actually charging toward him. His heart skipped a beat and he changed the direction of his blade. Instead of slashing at the ancestor of technique, he slashed at the Starry Sky battleship. Boom. The blade light hit the interplanetary warship, but the warship was not damaged at all. On the other hand, the young man in the brocade robe was forced back and almost spat out a mouthful of blood. The interplanetary warship also stopped in the air. Many people looked at the interplanetary warship, especially the people of the righteous army, with a hint of hope in their eyes. It was obvious that the starship was heading towards the young man. Did they come to help? Who is it? Get out here. The young man in embroidered clothes squinted his eyes and shouted angrily. The door of the starship opened and a figure walked out. Lu. Booming, it's you. The first one to shout was none other than Kong Long. He had been thinking about taking revenge on Lu Ming every day. Naturally, he had a deep impression of Lu Ming and could recognize him at a glance. Lu Ming, it's him. Lu Ming is back. Why is it him? Did he bring the experts from the Kong Xian sect? The people from the righteous army were stunned. Then the hope in their eyes intensified. They hoped that Lu Ming had brought the powerhouses from the Kong Xian sect. Then they might be safe today. It's this brat. Kong Ji, Sidu Haonan and the others' eyes also emitted a cold light. Lu Ming, the ancestor of technique, was also shocked. Boy, so you're Lu Ming. The young man in embroidered clothes looked at Lu Ming with a cold gaze. He had heard of Lu Ming's name before. First of all, Lu Ming had come in first in the previous Qin Tian 13 Clan A assessment. He had also heard Kong Ji, Situ Shao and Situ Feng mention him before. Lu Ming. The real one. Lu Ming smiled faintly and swept his gaze across the entire place. He secretly heaved a sigh of relief when he realized that everyone was fine. They had finally arrived. Who else from Kong Xian sect has come? Come out. Today the Yimo Academy is doing something. Let's see who dares to stop us. The young man in embroidered clothes said coldly. His gaze skipped Lu Ming and looked at the door of the interplanetary warship. He did not take Lu Ming seriously at all. He was just a new disciple of the Kong Xian sect. He could kill him with one finger. Obviously he had no idea about Lu Ming's performance in the Ice Soul clan. Otherwise he would not have been so arrogant. Don't worry, I'm alone today. There's no one else. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He waved his hand and kept the interplanetary warship. What? Lu Ming is alone. This is terrible. Hearing this, the faces of the righteous army soldiers changed. They had some hope, but it turned into despair. Lu Ming was alone. What could he do? He couldn't change the outcome. Not good. The expressions of the ancestral dragon, the Tan longhorn beetle and the others also changed drastically. They were extremely worried. This kid actually came alone. He's really courting death. It's good. Today is the perfect day to get rid of him. It's killing two birds with one stone. I don't have to find a chance to kill him in the future. The heavens are really helping me. Kong Ji, Kong Long, Situ Haonan and the rest laughed out loud in their hearts. They were extremely happy. At first Lu Ming had joined the Kong Xian sect. His talent was also extremely shocking, which made them afraid. They had thought that after they had destroyed the righteous army, they would find a way to kill Lu Ming and get rid of future trouble. They did not expect Lu Ming to deliver himself to them. There was no reason for them to not be happy.